I'll stand side by side. The first one says his name with pride.
So what's your sound now, vowel E?
Leonetti, Smale, Marois, McLean, Nill, Hanpa, Wilson. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bob Berry, Dougberry, Bradbury. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Thank you. How was your trip home, Mike? No, I was talking to you. How? You said you went to visit parents for a day and a half. Your parents? Oh, okay. Boy, without the power play, they'd be helpless. Thank you.
Mike Finn, what are the stats that they're using for Hextall? .36. .761. Or 760. Yes.
No. Had a tie here Friday with Quebec.
Well, according to this one, it's 760 on my sheet, score sheet. Which one is it?
Well, they've got 2 ties, Mike, so each one has one.
.11. What are we going to get? Are we going to get officials live first? And they're first. Okay. Why Doc talking about Probert? What's he doing? He's not even talking about tonight's game. I like that. Canada's native son.
Oh, you are native.
Yeah. Officials for tonight's game. The referee is Dan Maroelli. Handling the lines will be Swede Knox and Randy Mitten. Ron Hextall returns to the net for the Flyers. 7, 8, and 3 with a 3.36 goals against average, and that is very quickly coming down. Eldon Pokey Reddick gets the start, 7-6-1 with a .411 average. Now the voice of the Flyers, Gene Hart.
We've got McLean out with Duncan, centered by Howard. Chuck Marawa back on the defense, along with young Taglianetti, a newcomer to the lineup this year. Flyers go Derek Smith with Tocchet and Sutter, along with Howe and Bill Root.
Part of a tandem, Pokey and the Bandit. Eldon Reddick, the other one who they call the Bandit is Daniel Bertillon, the other young rookie goaltender of last year.
Flyers again, Bobby tonight are playing 10 Little Indians with their defenseman, another one down. We'll talk about that in a minute. Tocchet on the draw up at center ice to Ron Sutter. Pokes it past McLean behind the Winnipeg net. Marawa there peels it up in his own left side. Duncan forecheck by Rudo goes in. And Ron Sutter picks up his position at the right point. They jam it up, 2 Flyers, 2 Jets. The Jets jam it out and get it past Howe off the far boards, and it ricochets into the Philadelphia zone. Away from the forechecking McLean to Ron Sutter, back to his own right corner. As the Jets are forechecking, the Flyers wheel out impressively. And it's up the middle to Sutter from Tocchet, over the line, swings to his left, fights past the stick check of Taglianetti, throws it off the side of the Winnipeg net. Tocchet covers, he's got Derek Smith in the slot. The pass is blocked back to Howe, pumps it in toward the net. Blocked away from Ron Sutter by the skate of Taglianetti. In there, Derek Smith knocks down the young rookie defenseman, but the Flyers then lose it. And Howard Chuck, the captain of the Jets, sails it to center ice. We're in the first minute of play, first period from Winnipeg, no score. Puck up through at the Winnipeg line, peeled through, and over the line on the left side is Ray Neufeld with a shot. Smothered and trickles in on Hextall. Drops off and feeds out to the near side and not out. Played in by Randy Carlyle. Carlyle into the offensive right corner, but Philadelphia gains possession as out comes Poulin with Propp and Dave Brown at center. Propp over the line on the off wing, dumps it toward the net. Reddick holds, doesn't control the rebound. Dave Brown does in front. Poulin was right there, couldn't direct it home, covers it himself in the right wing corner. Poulin around behind the Jet net, in front of Stuffer. Reddick had the pad on the right post to keep that away, and then Tim Warner, the defenseman, ricochets it off the glass on the rebound, out of the rink for the stoppage.
Number of players scratched for Philadelphia. Brad Marsh, Tim Kerr, of course, back home. Brian Dobbin, Craig Berube, Lindsey Carson, Ilka Sinisalo, and Shell Samuelson, who came up with a red shoulder against Detroit when he dove and knocked the puck away from Mel Bridgman. Winnipeg without 3 people in the lineup: Frederick Olofsson, Steve Rooney, and Gilles Hamel.
Of course, Olofsson was hurt at Canada Cup playing for Sweden, and that made general manager John Ferguson unhappy. He says, I'm glad that series is only 4 years, or every 4 years. That's all I can handle. All right, Zezel against Laurie Boschman, offensive left circle, Philadelphia. Wound around by Bradbury, the defenseman, past Ellett on the near side. Forechecking is Scott Mellenby. It goes back to Greg Smith at the point. Shot, Reddick steers it away. Rebound, score by Zezel. As Reddick did not control the rebound. Greg Smith, his first NHL point. Zezel scores, 1-0.
1:49 is the time. Zezel very quickly. Greg Smith did an excellent job of just hanging in at the blue line. Pokey Reddick had that rebound go off not only his stick, but also the defenseman on the side. It hit him, went right out in front of Zezel going to the net, had an easy time at putting the puck behind the goaltender. The Flyers break out on top.
Smith gets 1 assist, and it comes at 1:49. Zezel picks up number 11, and again he's on a tear. There's a shot from the blue line by Doug Smale and Ellett. That's all offside, though, and we'll try it again. And Zezel continues to be on a tear. That gives him now 10 of the goals that he scored in the last 7 games.
Certainly has, Gene. Boy, it's a key that he plays well tonight. Winnipeg has 3 pretty sound centermen, and Howard Chuck, Boschman, and Thomas Steen. And the Flyers, of course, will get excellent efforts out of Sutter and Poulin, and Peter Zezel has to come and play extremely well tonight if the Flyers are to be successful here.
And Bob is not analyzing after the fact. He told me just before airtime, I said, how do you think they'll do tonight? He says, all depends on Zezel. Well, if Zezel start as an omen, good times tonight. Puck in the Philadelphia zone. An outlet by Howe, smartly through at center ice, and here comes Propp with Poulin on his right, over the line, joined by Brown. Poulin into the right wing corner on a give and go to Propp. Propp around to the offensive left corner, holds the puck, comes out into the circle, finally checked off by 2 Jets, Boschman and Carlyle. And Carlyle, former Norris Trophy winner, gets it into the zone, hash marks up the middle, look out, shot, save, and a good one with Neufeld screening in front. And the drive to Boschman, a stopper, a rebound off Philadelphia's Hextall in front. Dave Brown pokes it away from the forechecking defenseman Jim Kyden. Away comes the Flyers again in a wide open opening 3-4 minutes. Propp over the line, swings to his left by himself, puts it off the skate and around behind the Jet net, where it's picked up by the unhelmeted Randy Carlyle up on the right side, fires past Neufeld all the way down. Hoffman is out now with Crossman, and up front Eklund with Rupe and Tocchet. Flyers coming out of their own zone. It's Duncan on with McLean and Howard-Chuck defensively. Marois and Taglianetti. There's a play through. They've got Duncan, will get a shot from the left circle. Saved by Hextall. Rebound in front. Cleared just off the stick on the near side of McLean to Tocchet at center ice. Flips into the offensive left corner from the Jet line and pursues. His 22 counterpart, Marois, tries to come out. Kept in to Rupe, who shot on a feed out of the left corner from Tocchet is blocked. In the corner, Tocchet takes out two men, Rupe in the slot. Little pump shot from the left circle over the top of the net. Retrieved by Eklund along the hash marked right circle. In front, Rupe comes to the near side, drops off to Tocchet. Tocchet in front! Shot! What a glorious save on Hoffman by Pokey Reddick. That was a gimme, fans, and Reddick came up with a marvelous save. Back comes Howard-Chuck over the line, and he winds up offside. 3:47 gone into the first period from Winnipeg. Flyers 1, Jets no score.
What a save he made on that one.
You know what that is? A little nonchalanting instead of really drilling it.
Well, he got rid of it right away, though, Gene.
Hoffman.
Terry Hoffman. Are we gonna have time? Flyers very nearly had a 2-0 lead. Hoffman, who has moved in very well from the point position throughout these last 4 or 5 games, had Pokey Reddick just stone him. He's been missed the net in Detroit. Had a great save here by Reddick. He's going to get his first NHL goal soon, Gene. He's getting the chances. Andy
McBain and Jim Nill out with Ron Wilson. Dave Ellett back with Bradbury. The Jets dumped in on the faceoff and played out to center ice to Zezel, the goal scorer. He's on with Mellenby and Craven. Crafty, after missing the game in Detroit, is back into action. Puck wound behind Reddick, sets it up, peels it off on the near side. Flyers battling. Zezel keeps it in. Round behind the net is wound by the Jets. Bradbury to Dave Ellett, his defensive colleague. He tries to kick it out. Flyers keep it in. There's a collision. Mellenby goes down as he runs over Ellett, and up ice on the left wing comes Bill for Winnipeg at the Philadelphia line. Into the zone, tries to get inside. Greg Smith does, but the puck goes on the outside. It's up for grabs in the corner, centering. And out of the left circle, Nill tried to go long side, didn't get much of it. Went wide, and the Flyers cover. Craven at center ice at the Jet line. Drops it into the zone. Mellenby turns, looks off for Ron Sutter with a shot right on. And he caught Reddick unawares on that quick changeabout after a loose pass. Back to Crossman, his shot toward the net. Reddick sees that one easily, pokes it off to his right, and up comes Bradbury, the Winnipeg defenseman. And as he hits the Flyer line, dumps in, and the Jets change on the goal. Thomas Steen out there with Hanno Järvenpää and Doug Smale. Flyers outlet, Tocchet falls down, sweeps it through at the Winnipeg line. Poked loosely by Tim Waters, and up for grabs, kicked back into the Jet zone, where defenseman Randy Carlyle is back with Tim Waters, scoots behind his own net for Winnipeg. Turns, looks for Steen at center ice, hits Smale, who tried to get around a check with Ron Sutter. Puck sails deep in the Flyer zone. Steen after it. In spins Doug Crossman away smartly from the forechecking of Steen. The Ron Sutter back to Hoffman, who leads the charge for the Flyers. Over the zone, and a shot wide from the right circle by Tocchet. And Steen will take it up on the left side to Smale, 2-on-2. Over the line, Smale tries to go right on in. And just as he got there, he fled to the open slot where Steen was, as the Flyers had both overplayed Smale, but the puck went right through Steen's skates as he was there by himself in front of Hextall. The Jets try to flow it in the slot. Knocked down is Thomas Steen. The Flyers break back 4-on-2. Doug Crossman over the line to Tocchet. Tocchet in, shot. Reddick to save. Crossman with a rebound behind the net. Looks, gives to Tocchet also behind. Out in front, left circle, toward the net. It's there! And Crossman shot bounced off Reddick. Derek Smith turned before he could get a rebound, folks. Reddick covered with 5:57 gone into the first period from Winnipeg. Flyers 1, Jets no score.
It's a recipe for disaster when Rick and AJ travel to Mexico looking for a young girl believed to have been kidnapped by her father, an explosives expert. That's tomorrow night on Simon & Simon at 7 on Philly 57.
Phil Root along with Howe for Philadelphia, and the Flyers go prop left. Patillo is first action on the right side with Poulin, and it's Boschman along with Neufeld and Nill, and defensively they have Kite out with Taglianetti. Point shot wide by Howe as the draw was won by Poulin. The Jets try to come out. Patillo, nice job to keep it in. Up the slot, no one there except Marois, who guns it down the ice looking for Neufeld. And it all the way down behind Hextall, who drops it off for Root. Neufeld right in the top of the crease, and Hextall lifted his stick to make sure he didn't get a piece of it. And then Root graves it to center ice. Jets at their own line. Taglianetti back with Marois. Gives it away at center ice. Off Poole and stick back in the Jet zone, and as he aggressively forechecks, caught Petit well offside for the stoppage.
Well, that's one thing that you got to judge yourself. Dave Poulin did an excellent job of forcing that whistle because he had nobody coming out quickly enough. Jim Kite, who I'm not sure if many people know that, is legally deaf, but he plays with special hearing aids in that helmet and runs a school for the deaf, hockey school that is, in Toronto in the off-season. Also works with Stan Mikita in the off-season at his hockey school in Chicago, and he's never really considered himself a handicapped individual. He thinks that anybody can overcome obstacles if they want it bad enough and work hard. He's a living proof of it.
Poole and Brown, Trop, Greg Smith, and Howe. The Jets go with Taglianetti and Marois, and up front their big line of Howard, Chuck, Duncan, and McLean. Taglianetti out on the right side. He hits Howard Chuck. It bounces up to the blue line, and the Jets carry to center ice. Howard Chuck flips it in, and they all chase behind Hextall. Slows it down. Back passes up on that far side. It kicks out to the blue line, and Dave Brown reaches it just inside the Flyer line along the left wing, as does Marois, the Jet defenseman, and it's out of the rink on the deflection.
You know, every time we come to Canada, a number of family and friends meet these players, and Dave Brown's mom and dad is in. And it's interesting, his mother has gone back to college, Gene. She takes a correspondence course from the University of Waterloo, which E.J. McGuire goes every summer to work on his doctorate. And I asked her what she's going to do with it. She says, I'm going to be the only grandmother to be sitting there talking philosophy while the rest of them do their crocheting.
She promised to make us fudge for Christmas. McLean, Howard, Chuck, Duncan, along with Bradbury and Ellett. The Flyers with Sutter, Tocchet, and Derek Smith, and win the draw. Daigneault, seeing action, is up on the near side with Crossman, but a pass at center ice. And we get a whistle. I don't know why. Came out of the Flyers zone to Tocchet, he touched, and we had a stoppage.
Well, what an excellent start Philadelphia has had. They've just really jumped on Winnipeg, out-shooting them 9-4. Been on them at every opportunity. Lead 1-0 here with 13:06 remaining.
Puck swept back in the Flyer zone. Crossman to Daigneault. Daigneault looks up on the left boards clearly to Ron Sutter at center ice. Pokes it go, and he's got Tocchet on the off wing flying. The trailer is Daigneault. Shot. Daigneault is going to go for the rebound as it went off to the left circle. Bradbury sweeps it away, tries to come out. 4 Flyers in a bunch just inside the Jet line along the right wing. That could have been trouble. Now the Flyers have it. Drop pass back to Derek Smith. Can't get a shot. Looks for Daigneault at the blue line. Sweeps to the near side. The Jets are really allowing the Flyers to operate at will in their zone. That's got to change, at least if Dan Maloney has anything to say as coach. Now up on the right side, McLean, who has one of the great handlebar mustache, tried to lead through to Howard Chuck, who was behind Daigneault. Puck over the Flyer goal line, and it's cleared up on the far side by Hextall. Reading it was Berry to go in, but couldn't control it and sent out to the Flyers Derek Smith from Ron Sutter. Tocchet fumbled it. Smith put it in, but Duncan back for the Jets at center ice. He's got Howard Chuck on his right, trailed on McLean over the line. Howard Chuck right circle shot up off Howe's stick, dropped right at the feet of both of them. Poked deep in the corner, off the referee Maroelli, kicks free behind the Philadelphia net, and the Flyers Crossman outlets to Zezel through at center ice. Right winging a pass to Craven off Mellanby's stick behind the Jet net. Craven attempts to center. Mellanby behind the net. Bumped off by Carlisle. Now Zezel is in there. They battle the Jet defenseman. Coming in, it goes out to the left circle. Turnaround shot off the short side by Craven. Now it's behind the net. In front again, a shot. Zezel is tied up and pulled down, and we're going to have a penalty against Carlisle for holding when the Jets get the puck. Carlisle will go off with the game's first penalty at 8:25, probably for holding. Flyer power play coming up. It is 1-0 Philadelphia.
Pucking's a call. The Flyers have just been overpowering Winnipeg so far in the first period in their zone. Carlisle had to pull Zezel down to the ice, so he would have had a pretty good opportunity in the slot area. So the Jet defenseman picks up the first penalty of the game at 8:25. Hooking is the call.
Flyers 29 on the year and 175. The Jets have given up 35 and 156 short. Bob, well, you know, we made that stat out coming out here about the number of penalties that players draw for the Flyers that result in power plays. Zezel leads. He came into the game with 28, and that makes 29. The Jets win the draw in their own right circle and shoot it into the player bench. Next in line, Prop with 19 and Poulin with 16.
Dan Maloney's been pretty pleased with the play of his team lately. In fact, most of his practices when they have not had a game that night have been centered around their play in their own zone, getting the puck out and working on little things. And they're having trouble in this first period, but it's mainly not from what the lack of they're doing is what the Flyers are doing. They're just flying here in the first 20 minutes.
Howe at the point, right side to Crossman. Howe, Crossman, Zezel along with Mellenby and Craven. They're going against Ron Wilson, who's at the top of the point with Boschman. Right circle, Craven is shot. Just slowed down by Zezel. Had he not touched it, would have been home. Back to the point. Crossman looks, cuts to the left side. Right point, top of the circle. Crossman in for Craven in front for Howe, and it rolls off his stick as he fell, and Reddick off to the right side of the net gathers in the puck.
Flyers' power play has been working very well over the last 7 games. It's about a 30% efficiency, which is outstanding. They've really gotten it alive, and a lot of it is due to their point men, such as Howe, are moving to the slot, moving to the holes in the areas, and creating opportunities for that puck carrier to hit them with passes. And when you get a lot of movement in the offensive zone, when you have the man advantage, the defensive team tends to lean and tends to scramble a bit, and it creates more openings.
Flyers are 6 for their last 19 in that stretch about which Bob spoke. Jets win this battle, though, on the face-off and send it down the ice. 11 minutes remaining first period. The one goal, Zezel is 11 from Smith at 1:49. Flyers on the first power play. They're out shooting Winnipeg 10-4. Left-winging it pass. Mellenby deflected it in, but it hit the linesman, Randy Mitinsky, and the Jets control, and it's sent down the ice by Mario Marois. Flyers on the power play have 1 minute, 8 seconds remaining. In the zone, they're mildly upset by the not winning the game in Detroit because they had so many good scoring chances that they failed to capitalize upon. Crossman behind the net, taken off by Marois, rolls it up to McBain, and he drills it down the ice. The Flyers have yet to gather a shot on this power play. There's a giveaway, almost at the line. Craven was almost stripped, but gets it up ice to Eklund. Eklund drops back to Tocchet to Craven, back to Tocchet, around behind the net. Eklund wasn't in front to help out to convert. The Jets wheel it back to the point. Crossman tries to poke it in. It hits the Jets' mail, but the Flyers get into Eklund. Top of the right circle to Craven. Craven holds along the hash marks now as the Jets drop back in the box. Straight away to Crossman. He's got the shot. Save, and it bounces in front. Craven tried to kick it forward to control. Kicked it too far forward, and Smale for the Jets takes it and ices it with 18 seconds remaining on the power play. Flyers wheel it around to the near side, past Ron Wilson on with Smale, Tim Waters, and Dave Ellett. Flyers now have one thrust up ice to see what they can do here. Eklund at the line, can't get past Ellett, lines it behind Reddick. Reddick stops it himself, gets it up on the near side, and Smale is able to put it out into the neutral zone as Carlisle goes off the penalty box to his bench, which is alongside the Winnipeg bench here at the arena, and is replaced by McLean on with Howard, Chuck, Duncan, Marois, and at the point, Taglianetti, who shoots it in behind Hextall. Stops it for Greg Smith, who's on with Huffman. Flyers up to Eklund, taps pass on the right side for Tocchet. He scoots all the way to the left side looking for an opening, backhands it in. As it appeared after killing that penalty, the Jets have kind of gotten their game legs tonight, and they've equalized Philadelphia's quick start. Duncan at the line, 70-footer. Hextall deflects to the near side, and Duncan himself picks up the rebound, puts it behind the net. McLean is cut off in his pursuit, but back to the point. Marois shot, save, rebound in the front. And the Flyers this time had Poulin cutting across to take it away. Up ice through to Sutter. Sutter's got Derek Smith as a trailer, gives him the puck. He's in, short side shot, save. Ron Sutter tried to put it in front for Derek Smith. The Jets take it behind, and Taglianetti out on the right side, and here comes McLean, Howard, Chuck, and Duncan 3-on-2. Over the line, Howard, Chuck, top of the left circle, in front, but it was boxed and blocked off by Greg Smith as both McLean and Duncan were converging on the Flyer net from opposite wings. Flyers hit the Jet line, dump it into the left corner to make a change. Huffman out now with Crossman and Mellenby, Zezel, and Craven as the Jets have Ray Neufeld is on with Boschman now. Send it up on the near side. The other member of that line is Randy Carlisle is back, right, with Kite and Waters. Left winging a pass, Zezel with a shot just off the top of the net. and ricochets to the near side into the corner. The Flyers look for the puck. Craven tied up in the corner. Bump Mellenby by Boschman. Boschman grabs Mellenby, tackles him, but Zezel behind the net in front. And there was Craven to hit the side of the net. Again Zezel behind. This time the Craven, he's got Mellenby there. The pass deflected away by the Jets' Carlisle. And then Mellenby into the corner, trying to get it back from Craven, but it's Carlisle again intercepting and sending into the neutral zone. 7:39 remaining in the first period. 1-0 Philadelphia. There's a steal of a pass from Zezel. Kite lifts it in, and they all pursue. Bob, I was confused because the Jets had 3 defensemen out there.
Well, they moved Kite up on the wing, Gene. He'll probably play most of the game up on the wing.
He was back, and Carlisle was up front, and that's what confused me. Puck behind the Philadelphia net. Crossman up on the near side to Tocchet, challenged by Dave Ellett. It's popped up, kept in by Steen with a bullet. Save. Rebound swept away by Philadelphia's Crossman up on the left side, and here comes Propp. He's got a man through it. He's gotten between the defense, Eklund, but he has to follow up the loose pass in the offensive right corner. Takes it, fights off a check, but then he can't beat Thomas Steen, Swedish countryman, who drops it up ice to the Flyer line. Howe turns, pass deflected, up for grabs at center. Ellett pokes it off the Kite, drops it at his glove, and then loses it. And back comes Philadelphia's Propp. Long shot from the left circle. Reddick kicks it out in front easily, and then Bradbury rolls it to his own right corner, where Hannu Järvenpää wheels it around to the left side, and Kite drills it all the way down, and they say no icing.
You'd have to have a rocket tied to your back to get that one, Gene.
Yeah, you keep asking for the definition of that icing. Greg Smith doesn't get it out. Taglianetti a shot, and right there trying to redirect was Thomas Steen, but it was off the stick of Hextall into the end seats. 6:25 left, first period, 1-0 Philadelphia.
If you are sitting in section 49, row 5, seat 4, you are the lucky winner of a home team with our 4th watch, courtesy of Sunday Board Village. Look forward to the Bills in the banner.
One nothing to score. Flyers leading the Jets. We have 6:25 remaining to be played in the first period.
Steen out with Hanpa and Smale, offensive left circle. Hanpa tries to roll it back to Taglianetti. Winds it around behind the Philadelphia net. Up on the Flyer defensive left side. Rupe's there, can't handle it. Marrow from the point. Shoots wide. Back to the left point in the carom to Taglianetti. He's got a screen. And right there was Hanpa, but the puck caromed off Hextall as the Jets are back in the hockey game. Up ice, Philadelphia through into the zone. Poulin wants to go all the way through Marrow. Takes the puck away, bangs it off the far board. Rupe had it over, skated, and Steen back 1-on-3 down that right side in the Philadelphia zone for Winnipeg. Smale for the net. Steen stops, looks for the trailer. Tied up by Rupe, who takes the puck away, but then it goes to Marrow at the point. Puts it behind the Philadelphia net. Both Smale and Hextall whacked at it. The Flyers got it, but didn't clear it out. Taglianetti, point shot, right there. And cleared away by Hextall, the Crossman. Well, I tell you, they've screened beautifully in the last 5 minutes, Bobby.
Big save by Hextall. 2 big saves from the point area. The Flyers have not checked the points very well so far, Gene.
Here comes Ian Duncan up. He's got Howard chucked down that right side against Howe. Stops, pivots, goes to the forehand into the right wing corner. And Duncan's pass looking for McLean, the trailer. Given away at the point by Craven. McLean in the corner from Carlisle. Looks in front. Tried to find his man who was knocked down. That was Duncan. And then it goes to McLean behind the net. He can't handle it. Greg Smith on the near side bumps Duncan. They tie the puck up. Zezel has it. He's chased by Howard. Chuck spins away from him along the near side and gets it smartly up to Craven. Excellent defensive play in his own corner by Zezel. And the Flyers dump in and make a change. Craven is out now with Zezel and Mellenby as Howard Chuck on the right side gets it through to Duncan. Duncan will probably dump in and the Jets will change on the goal. We have 4:50 remaining, first period, 1-0 Philadelphia. Shots are now 13-11. As up ice comes Mellenby by himself to the jet line, looks for support. Back pass is looking for Zezel, but there to take it off is Ellett and send it up through on the left wing at center ice. Howard Chuck against Crossman over the line. Nil breaking for the net. Howard Chuck tries to come right out in front, and finally, deep in on the offensive circle, he's stripped of the puck. And the Flyers Crossman pokes it up on the near side, and Mellenby away to Craven at center ice. Looks for Zezel. In though to Hoffman. Hoffman had a stick held as he had split the defense. Now he's got Mellenby as a trailer. Whistles it high at the short side. And there was a ticketed goal if he had hit the net. And up ice comes the Jets as McBain's pass to Ellett is fumbled, and then Ellett drills it in behind the Flyer net. Ron Wilson is in quickly. He's bumped by Hextall, and the puck taken away as Hextall jabs Ron Wilson, and back comes Eklund through on the right side to Dave Brown. His shot on Reddick. Off the blocker, drops at his feet, clears off to Taglianetti from Marois on the Jets' left side, and away to Jim Kite at center ice. Looks for Ron Wilson. Howe picks it off in front of the blue line, sends it on the left wing to Eklund. A nice little tap pass through to Pop at the Jet line. Over the line into the left corner, but Dave Brown looking for a dumping run in offside. 3:43 left first period. Flyers 1, Jets no score.
Randy? 14-11, the shots on goal for Philadelphia, and it was a big shot from Taglianetti off the point, and the Jets have gotten back, as you mentioned. They're getting much more offensive thrust.
Greg Smith around to his own left corner, gets a return from Patillo as the Jets closed off the corner outlet. Now Howe pokes it up on the left side to Patillo. He skates to the line, is harassed by Kite, but then back passes to Poulin and up through to Howe over the line. Swings on the backhander deep into the offensive right corner. Tied up. Rolls it in deeper behind the net to Magnus Rupe. Rupe in front. 2 Flyers there. 3 of them. They couldn't get the pass. Now Patillo in front. Shoots it wide from a deep angle on the left circle. And it ricochets to the near side and Kite away too far from Marois at center ice. Rolls to the Flyer line. Crossman feeds left side. And Howe looks to center to Patillo. Tapped off the stick by Marois. But right back to Crossman. Puts it through looking for Ron Sutter at the Jet line and loops him over the Winnipeg blue line and the goal line where it's covered by the Jet defense. Marois back there with Taglianetti, works out in front, and it's Boschman with Neufeld and Kite. Boschman up through on the near side to Marois. Marois got a good shot, tries to cut into the slot. The puck rolls into the near corner. Back pass tried, looking for Carlisle at the point. Flyers, nice job. Neufeld tied up by Huffman. Boy, he's learning, Bobby, forget the puck and tie up the man. Now in his own corner, Ron Sutter knocked down, gets up as he was clobbered by Kite from behind. Now scoots behind the net. 2:24 remaining first period. Flyers up off the skate of Pocket. The Flyers try to get it out, and then Derek Smith runs over Boschman, who had picked up the left point for Carlisle, and then the Flyers finally get it up to its center to Ron Sutter. Wheels it into the Philadelphia attack zone. He's knocked down by Waters as the Jets have kept the Flyer offense down since the 8-minute mark. They've only had 1 shot of their 11 since then. Jets pound it in behind the Philadelphia net. Smale is beaten to the puck by Hextall. Lifts it high into the corner. Knocked down by Hunpa. Puts it behind. Dave Brown ties up his man. Then Hunpa knocks down Philadelphia's Howe, but Brown works past Smale. Looks and nicely feeds up to Prop at the left wing at center ice. He turns by Steen. Gets past Hunpa, and the Flyers are having a dickens of a time as the Jets are warming for the task. Greg Smith out there minus his headgear, which is laying on the back of the Philadelphia net, as the Jets put Carlisle around to the far side, trying to find Hunpa at center ice, takes it away from Howe, through to Smale at the Philadelphia line, into the zone, bump, right out in front, shot wide, and he had the whole corner to the left of Hextall in a marvelous individual effort.
That's stick checking again, Gene. 1-on-3. You can't stick check. You got to take the body.
Book a man through at the line, and here comes Brad Berry, and again the Jets warming to the task. Right corner, in front, and Duncan is just astride away, and back comes Philadelphia's Poulin as he's up at center ice, and the Flyers really having their troubles now. They wheel it into the Jet zone. You'll hear a minute remaining in the period right now as we have icing Philadelphia, 1-0 Flyers.
You don't need to cut it counts down on my coach here. Doug Smale, just all he did was go. The Flyers just tried to stick check. Everybody going for the puck. Anytime you do that, players in this league will make you look foolish, and he almost tied the game.
Smale, an All-American at North Dakota one year when the Nodaks won the NCAA one. Held it along the near side, bumped off by Mellenby. Drops it in deep to his own right corner for Huffman, who's playing on the right side. Crossman on the left. Huffman out to the left side of his net, just flips it off the boards to make sure to get it to center ice. Craven is on with Zezel now, and Tocchet is through, is Duncan down that right side. Turns, looks for the net, has a man to the near side. They score on a deflection.
(1924). Now, anytime you don't have a play, just shoot it at the net. That's exactly what Duncan did. He shot at the net, hit Paul McLean in the skate, and ricochets through the opening between the pads of Ron Hextall, and the Jets have tied this game. As Paul McLean picks up the goal number 13 from Ian Duncan at 1924.
Bradbury gets the other assist, and we're tied. Well, the Flyers took the first 10 minutes, the Jets took the last 10 minutes. Flyers score in the first 2, and the Jets score in the last 1, and we have 19 seconds left in the period as the Flyers wheel it up on the far side. And out they come to center ice. Derek Smith through behind Tocchet as the Jets really turn the Flyer offense around now as they have trouble completing a pass through the neutral zone. Round behind the net with 6 seconds left. Hextall there. Off the glass, ricochets through the blue line and will be poked to center as we come to the end of the first period. Zezel is 11th from Smith at 149. McLean is 13th from Duncan at 1924. The Jets had the game's only penalty, and the Flyers outshot Winnipeg 14-12. So from the capital of the province of Manitoba, Winnipeg on this cold night, Sunday, first period score, the Philadelphia Flyers won and the Winnipeg Jets won. As we get way back to the balmy east in the erudite, college-bred Philly 57 host Mike Emmerich.
Timing's a big part of playing hockey, or any sport that, for that matter, but a lot of the timing that takes in hitting a guy at center ice, it's one of the most difficult timing efforts there is, and Tim Waters of the Jets is very strong at that. Got Dave Poulin, the captain, rather nicely in that center ice area.
Offensive right circle, the Jets. Steen along with Smale and Yarvenpah, and Bradbury back with Ellett. The Flyers go with Smith and Howe. And then out there is Mellenby with Zezel and Craven. Jets win the draw. Steen puts it behind the net. Zezel tries to cut off Smale, and it rolls loose to Zezel behind his net. Hawked all the way to his own line and can only throw it away at center. Jets checking so very effectively now. Now Steen loses it, and the puck is tapped loose at center. The Jets are jumping on the puck in the last 10 minutes, as did the Flyers in the first 10. Puck cleared into the Flyer zone. Greg Smith behind the net. Smale read it, and then Yarvenpah, he took a run at Smith. Smith took a shot at him, and he's going to go off for tripping. And that was a foolish penalty and a lack of discipline by the youngster. It comes at 2:35. Penalties even at 1. First Jet power play of the night coming up, early second period, in a 1-1 game.
He had to be looking for the call something, but that wasn't tripping. If there's anything, it was cross-checking. Called it tripping. It should have been cross-checking. He just saw him go down and heard the yell. Winnipeg is really jumping on the Flyers, and it makes it very difficult for those defensemen when they're playing with their face in the glass. Yarvenpah gave Smith a pretty good shot. Smith retaliates. Cross-checked him, actually, but Dan Marawelli saw the end result, not what happened, I would think, and he gives him a tripping call. 2:35 the time, and Winnipeg on the first power play for them.
Smith, they call him Smythe here, has 4 minutes on the air. So the Jets, who were 1 for 9 last year in 3 games against Philadelphia, but have 43 total, are in third place overall, get their first chance. McBain behind the net, out to McLean, straight away to Carlisle, look, shot, Hextall kicks it, and it popped up off the stick, grabbed it, then got a stick across in front of his body to keep McBain from getting too close.
That area is very difficult to control, and you got to make sure that you do, especially when you have size guys like Andrew McBain out there. Then, of course, when you have a quarterback on that power play like Randy Carlyle, one of the few remaining helmetless people, they keep kid him there. They say, why Randy shouldn't wear a helmet because he has nothing to protect.
Now with Crossman, Ron Sutter with Poulin, McLean, Howard, Chuck, McBain, Carlisle, and Ellett. Howe in the corner, fights off a check, but then has the puck stripped. Picked up by the Jets in front. Howard Chuck to McBain, back to Carlisle. Oh, he's in. Left circle shot, just wide by Howard Chuck, who went the right place. Just a little soft shot away from the flow of where Hextall was moving from right to left, but just missed the corner. Jets in the corner behind the net. McLean looks, gets past the stick check of Crossman, works out of that corner, straight away to Ellett, 40-footer, wide off the stick and glove of Hextall behind the net. Out comes McBain to the offensive right corner, puts it off the stick, and then slapping at it was Hextall. Couldn't get it away from McLean, and then as the Jets try to tie a ribbon on it behind the net, it's poked free, but they control again. McBain behind the net with McLean off to the near front left of Hextall. Goes to Howard Chuck in the offensive corner, pass block as he wanted to go to the point. Now it is cleared back to Carlisle, winds up, shot, just wide. It didn't touch anything as he caught a rolling puck. The Jets have 50 seconds left, and we have an offside as it rolled over the blue line. Ellett tried to poke it back in like nobody saw him with his hand in the cookie jar, but to no avail.
Flyers have a brand new Jules Jurgensen calendar watch featuring the team logo, and it's available just in time for Christmas. To order, send a check or money order to Flyers Watch, the Spectrum, Philadelphia 19148. Now, if you want a men's watch, it's priced at $99.95. A ladies, $89.95. And all you have to do is add $2 to those totals for postage and handling.
Randy Minton, who's handling the draw, born in Fredericton in the Maritimes, now lives in Leduc, Alberta. I think that's where the big oil strike was years ago.
That's what started all the oil in Calgary anyway. Or, pardon me, in Alberta.
Randy's a softball official in the off-season. I guess that's a little safer. All right, with the Jets in the power play, 45 seconds left. Taglianetti shoots in. Out tries to come out with it to the point. Bounces off. Marois does a marvelous job of keeping Poulin from coming out with the puck. Then Poulin steals it away. Tried to roll it off to Howe. He's hawked all the way back into his own right corner. Falls in the puck as he was pushed down from behind by Boschman. I think maybe Davey did that as he was cornered and had nowhere to go with the puck.
They are coming up with tearaway jerseys next year, as we talked. Dave Poulin, of course, getting most of his ice time, and it depends on how the game is going, but he gets most of his ice time with the penalty-killing team. And he says when the other centermen are going very well, he gets a little extra rest, and he likes that. There's some games where he's really logging upwards of the high 30s in ice time, 30 minutes that is.
4:03 gone, scoreless second period, tied at 1. 32 seconds on the penalty to Greg Smith. Flyers go Sutter, Craven, Crossman, and Howe. The Jets have Laurie Boschman, drafted originally by Toronto, then to Edmonton, and found a home here. Taglianetti is on with Steen, Neufeld, and Marois at the point. Puck kicked out to center ice. Craven's going to put pressure on Marois, turns to his left, gets the puck off to Taglianetti, checked nicely at his own line by Craven. The Jets put it up at center, and Steen, left wings, they got a half a step. There's Boschman on Crossman. Long shot from out on the left. Hextall the save and does his own clearance, and he's got Ron Sutter short-handed. Trying to cut him off is Marois. Sutter there, waits too long, and then shot wide to the right shoulder of Reddick. And Bobby, despite all of that, he had part of the net to hit.
He did, Gene. He just missed it. He's having his problems. He's getting the chances, which is nice to see, but he's having trouble hitting that net.
Greg Smith is out. The Flyers survive. The Jets stump in. Steve right out in front to Neufeld. Got in too deep. Puts it into the slot. Picked off by Prop. Coming back with Craven as Smith joins the play, breaking for the net. Now Prop has it. Cross ice. There's Huffman in. Shot. Score! Number 1 in the NHL for Kerry Huffman.
And it comes at 4:51 of this second period. And again, it's the matter of the defense moving up very quickly on the play. Huffman moved up. Greg Smith took out the defenseman. And I think just as they moved in front there, that's when Pokey Reddick lost a little bit of his concentration. And Kerry Huffman found the high side over the glove. Right there is where he lost his concentration when Smith was taken out of the play. Greg Smith, that is. And he didn't get set in time. By the time he was able to get set, the shot was on its way, and it went by him. The Flyers regained the lead.
Prop the one assist, and here comes Ellett back as once again the Flyers have the lead. Long shot high off Hextall's shoulder, bounces in front. He covers it before McLean could get there.
Ron Hextall should get assist on that goal, Gene. He's the one that fed it off the boards to Brian Prop, who then sent it on over to Kerry Huffman, so Hextall should get the assist as well. Flyers 87-88 yearbook, which has all the facts, figures, and full-color photos of all the players, is now available at the Spectrum and any of the Showcase stores. Or, if you want it by mail, send $9 to Flyers Yearbook, the Spectrum, Philadelphia 19148. Now, if you remember, the Flyers Yearbooks will make great Christmas stocking stuffers.
Howard, Chuck, Duncan, McLean, Berry, and Ellett, the Flyers counter with Howe and Greg Smith. The line of Derek Smith with Tocchet and Ron Sutter. Sutter loses draw, but nice play out there by Dave Brown, who's really on the wing, not Tocchet, to spring the puck free and not allow the Jets to move from the point. And it rolls to the blue line, kept in just barely. Howard Chuck, left circle, tried to center it. McLean was picked off, then they sent it to Howard Chuck with a bullet, short side wide. All of this after the Flyers had possession, the Jets putting on good heat. Smith, for the third time in the game, loses his helmet for Philadelphia and then chips it into center ice. Bounces to Berry, gets through him. Ron Sutter's got an open man in front. Shot, score! Derek Smith.
Wow, Philadelphia gets 2 quick goals. Derek Smith, and again, it's just being aggressive around the puck. A flipped pass from Greg Smith. And it was very difficult for Berry to handle the bouncing puck. Sutter just went by him, picked up the loose puck, fed it to Derek Smith, who put it by Pokey Reddick, and the Flyers have taken a 2-goal lead. Derek Smith picks the goal up. It comes at 5:29, and it's Smith's 5th of the year.
The goals coming 38 seconds apart. Well, Greg Smith is having a big night. He set up Sutter away. He has 2 assists on the evening. 3-1 Philadelphia. Puck in the neutral zone. They send it in. Eklund's got a left circle shot if he can reach the puck, but it skips on this fast ice to the goal line. Lost possession. And Randy Carlyle for Winnipeg up on the left side. Smartly threw to Smale at the Philadelphia line. Goes into the zone, but it rolled in after he had followed it in. Checked nicely from behind by Eklund. The goal, Hoffman, number 1 from Prop at 4:51. Derek Smith is 5th from Sutter and Smith at 5:29. Kerry Huffman.
Goal number 1, and he's had his chances to get the goals. As we saw in the first period, Pokey Reddick stoned him. He had a chance against Detroit, and he missed the net. But this time, he made sure of it, getting the one up high over the shot. And I think they talked to him, the coaching staff, to say that he had to move up into the play more, get more involved in the offense of the team, and he has, and it's really helped out.
Tim Waters flips in. Howard Chuck goes after Howe. Turns it off the near board. Doesn't get it up. McLean hash marks in front. And it went off the skate of Duncan. And for the second time, the Jets almost tally on the skate deflection. The Flyers work through on the left side. Mellenby's going to try to turn Waters. Backhand shot from the left circle wide. Back to the right point. Poked in by Bill Root behind the net. Carlyle there. It skips through him and Philadelphia's Poulin. And Waters falls, and he's going to be a penalty called against Scott Mellenby for taking the skates out from under the Jet defenseman. Winnipeg power play coming up. 6:19 gone, second period. 3-1 Philadelphia.
Frank, and that goal by Kerry Huffman, when we take it back, you can see Hexie shooting it off the boards for Poppy to pick it up, can't you? Frank? Oh, okay. Dan Mariuelli has quite an easy time of it so far. Anyway, he's only handed out 2 penalties until this time. And then Tim Waters trying to make the sharp turn. Little tug by Scott Mellenby, and he went down easily, and Mariuelli picks up, or calls the hooking minor on the Flyer forward at 6:19.
How often you've mentioned that's a bad time to get that stick there when they're making that sharp turn, because it doesn't take much to dislodge their balance. Maybe you ought to tell the players that and the coaches.
They know that.
Yeah.
It's hard to do it, though.
Gets instinct to go check. All right, Carlyle in his zone is back there along with Ellett, and up front, McBain, McLean, and Howard Chuck. The Flyers with Crossman and Howe. Poulin and Prop. The Jets, Carlyle. Won the Norris Trophy one year with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wound up on the near side. Ellett keeps it in at the right point. Tries to go in deep. Just gets it past Prop. Goes to Carlyle. Left circle shot. Save in front. And sitting right on the doorstep was McLean. And just as the puck sprung free, Mariuelli blew the whistle, and that was met with displeasure here.
Boy, that is so difficult for a goaltender to pick up that shot. And McLean standing in front. Now, McLean's 6'2", 205 pounds, so you know he has good size, and he's very difficult to knock out of there. And Hextall has to keep his concentration, or any goaltender who's in there behind players with the size of a McLean. And it's very difficult to do. Hextall did it very well that time.
He's got the second best mustache in the league to Lanny McDonald, does Paul McLean.
They're very similar, too. Soup strangers.
Howard Chuck against Ron Sutter, defensive right circle face-off. Goes back to Carlisle to Ellett. Shot, save, swept away nicely by a goaltender Hextall, who was there down, but in a good balanced position to sweep the rebound away. Flyers have 1:10 to kill as Tocchet tries to pass. It's blocked back to him, beats to the right side to Bill Root, and Root, as he's challenged and bumped with a little block by McBain, shoots it all the way into the Jet zone. Ellett, as the Flyers have Tocchet on now, and Craven jumps on to join him, and Howe back with Root. Jets tied up in their own end, trailing 3-2. The Jets were flying, and then the Flyers bang in a pair in 38 seconds, and that took a little ginger out of the Jets, and they're going to need something exciting to get them back in the flow. Play given away at center ice. Craven's going to try to put pressure on McLean, who just elbows him off cleanly, and that allows Ellett to pick up the puck and send it through to Howard Chuck. He had gotten a half a step past Howe, but couldn't handle the pass. Hextall wheels it around to the near side, jumps past McLean, and here comes Derek Smith with Howe 2-on-1. He's got Howe in toward the net, but he swings way wide to the right and then passes behind Howe, who had already hit the goal line. Up ice, here come the Jets. McLean 1-on-1 with Crossman, top of the right circle, shot. Hextall blocks with the glove. The Flyers jam the puck up on the near side to center ice with 10 seconds remaining on the penalty to Philadelphia's Scott Mellenby. Shots in this period, the Flyers have had 3. They've scored on 2 of them, a game total of 17. The Jets have had 6, a game total of 18. Penalty is over, and out of the box comes Mellenby, and the Flyers have an open man. They've got Eklund down that right side. He's in. Drive. Reddick the save. Helpless on the rebound. Scott Mellenby in the corner to Eklund. Had Propolone in front. Couldn't get him to pass. It was blocked. And Ray Neufeld for the Jets up on the left side. Duncan back to Neufeld. He's going to go right on in. Rolled the puck toward the net as he was off balance, and the Flyers got a break as he never really got a good whack at it. And Philadelphia from their right side. And Mellenby shoot it out at center. The Jets fire it right back in. Hextall to his own right corner. Crossman looks, carries a pass off Mellenby's skate, but he gets it as center as it was slowed down inadvertently by the linesman Randy Mitton. Flyers dump in. They have Eklund out there now along with Propp and Tocchet. They join Ruth with Huffman on the defense. Carlisle for Winnipeg up through at center ice at the red line. Will wrap around behind Hextall from his right to left up on the Jet offensive right side. Boschman centering pass. Caroms off the left boards to Carlisle. One-timer. Chipped it wide as he didn't get it all. Flyers a little late covering it, and Carlisle sees it poked behind the net. Boschman tries to center. Knocked away by Philadelphia's Tocchet, and then Bill Root off Eklund's stick up on the right side for Philadelphia, and he deflects 2 into the Winnipeg zone. Waters pass. Knocked all the way into the Jets' regular season player bench on the far side for a stoppage. Midway second period from Winnipeg, 3-1 Philadelphia. Mike, just for fun, where you think it's worthwhile, it breaks me up that with all the $1 million in satellites, that the way we signal timeout or for a commercial, the guy's over there with a red bulb at the top of a hockey stick. I wonder if you could catch that once. It just looks so silly. See him standing over there at the penalty box?
Can't see it.
Oh. Yeah.
Three-1 Flyers leading. We have 10:29 remaining in the second period here in Winnipeg.
We have a multi-million-dollar telecast with satellites going to the moon and back, and the way they signal the players and the referees that there's a commercial is that there's a fellow standing in the penalty box with a red bulb at the end of a broken hockey stick. Maybe we'll get a chance to see that. The Jets ice it. That should be the call. Randy Mitton and Sweet Knox agree, and we have a stoppage of play. Sweet Knox out of Edmonton, 17th year in the league as a linesman.
He used to be a stick boy for the Edmonton Oil Kings. When he was up there, junior, a few years back.
He's a carpenter. Now, I know that surprises you because you think most officials are plumbers.
Well, maybe he got his Swede Knox, of course. He's a Swedish player. Or, they all had to have other trades. Phil Samuelson's a carpenter. Maybe when they sit up there and talk, they compare rasps.
Mellenby, Craven, and Poulin, along with Greg Smith, who's had a exciting night for him. 2 assists on the Flyer goals. As up ice come the Jets on the right side. They have Boschman on now with Steen playing the wing. Nice play by Howe to snake the puck away. Has to follow it into his own corner. Tries to wrap it around, but bounces it off Doug Smale, and it goes out of the rink. I always remember that interesting story. Remember Taylor, Mark Taylor, the Flyers Well, he was an all-star at North Dakota, and he got hurt in the championship game, and Doug Smale scored 4 goals in that game and was named the #1 player of the NCAA tournament in his senior year.
Well, he was also wooed by the Flyers as a free agent before he signed with Winnipeg, and the reason why he didn't sign with Philadelphia is he thought he'd get more ice time and get here quicker in the National League with the Jets.
Puck cleared around behind Hextall. Nice little job by Mellenby to hold off Smale. Poulin tries to wrap it out, and Mellenby does on the second. Here he comes down that right side against Berry. Long shot off Reddick. Rebound. He's helpless. It just reaches out and pokes it past Craven, and the Jets quickly turn and have a 2-on-2 at center ice. Smale in full flight. Swings into the offensive left corner. Angle shot, and Hextall covers it, and Huffman, I think a smart play. Rather than look and get stripped of the puck, he banged it off the boards where he had clear cover, and then when he saw there was no trouble, banged it out into center ice. Flyers again changes the puck in the Winnipeg zone. Big crowd here, but they're very quiet as their team trails 3-1. Up ice on the near side. Havenpah touches up, but on the offensive side of the red line offside. 9:21 remaining, second period from Winnipeg. Flyers 3 and the Jets 1.
Saturday, December 19th. Don't miss a minute of the action in round 2 of the Cold War between Team USA and the USSR. Immediately following the Flyers and the Islanders, right here on Philly 57.
Bobby, we have a new trivia question. That's an interesting one. We're going to throw it out and let our fans answer. The only player in the history of the NHL who has been traded twice for Norris Trophy winners. The only player to have been traded twice for 2 different Norris Trophy winners. Offensive left corner dump for Philadelphia. Play on. 9:16 remaining, second period. 3-1 Philadelphia. Zezel in the first. Huffman and Derek Smith in the second. The 1 goal for the Jets by Paul McLean. The Jets wind it behind Hextall, off the near board, tries to get it out past Howard. Chuck blocks it. Shot, and Hextall on the deep shot from out on the right side save. And it's poked by Ron Wilson behind the Philadelphia net. Howe is there, wheels it up on the near side, kicks away from Howard Chuck. Kept in by Wilson, right circle. Howard Chuck looks for Nill in front. Goes back to the point, shot! Oh, and he just got it through the screen of Nill, and you could see Hextall reacting belatedly, but still got a hunk of it as the Flyers shoot it all the way down. It'll be an icing or an offside, but Marois makes sure that it's an icing by getting there first for Winnipeg.
I just watched the play of young Greg Smith, Gene, and he did an excellent job of keeping Jim Nill away from Ron Hextall. When that shot goes through, all you got to do is make sure that you take your man, keep him away from the possible rebound. Goaltenders will get the first shot. It's the rebounds and screens that they have difficulty handling, and this time Greg Smith did an excellent job of getting him away and allowing Hextall to just tap it away from the front of the area, in front of the net, rather.
Off to Pittsburgh tomorrow, where the Flyers will meet the Penguins on Tuesday night at 7:35, and we'll be there with Philly 57, the radio network, and WIP, our flagship radio station. Howard Chuck, Duncan, McLean, Waters, and Carlisle. Carlisle feeds, trying to get cross-ice, but jumping on it was Eklund to tap it through it to the Winnipeg line. Carlisle around the far side, wheels it past Tocchet, and the Jets wind it in behind the Philadelphia net. After it is Howard Chuck, but around to Eklund on the near side. The Jets keep it in. Howard Chuck shot blocked, and out comes Propp at center ice. Comes with Tocchet and Eklund, 3-on-2. Over the line, Eklund tried to wield it from the backhand to the forehand in full flight. Hit it too hard, broke loose to the Jets, and they have it in their own zone. Give it away to Huffman at the point. Shot on the net, deflected away by Ian Duncan, and the Jets come to center ice. Howard Chuck, 1-on-1 with Crossman. Tocchet picks up McLean. Howard Chuck in the near corner. Tries to cut out in front. Still with the puck. Look out. Shot! Just wide of the short side and rebounded off the side of the net by McLean. Philadelphia covers that. And up on the near side, Eklund is able to direct into the neutral zone with 7:50 remaining second period. 3-1 Philadelphia. The Jets shoot in. Crossman has it chased behind his net by Duncan. Picks up, goes into second gear. Comes around to the near side and carries smartly right through to center ice. Then turns back in away from the forechecking of Ray Neufeld. Beats left side for Huffman. Huffman to center, and Eklund has it. Will cover the red line and then drills it into the Jet zone. And the Flyers turn off and send out a new unit. Mellenby out with Poulin and Craven. Howe with Greg Smith, and the Flyers dig it out at their line as Duncan gave it away. Up at ice. There's a tap. Oh, steal. Duncan is in, but it's offside on the high stick 2 violation, knocked down illegally by the young rookie. 7:20 remaining, second period from Winnipeg. 3-1 Philadelphia. Bobby, a lot of credit has to go to this club. We took shots at them, as everybody did during their slump. But you look now, they're out there on the road in tough situation with 5 people who were in their Stanley Cup final lineup last year out of the lineup. Their number 1 goal scorer, and they have a string going of 7 in a row unbeaten, and they come into Winnipeg and are playing superbly.
Really are, Gene. But of course, you know, they didn't play well at the start of the year. And I think as an athlete, you have to expect that. Craven has been bothered with muscle spasms down there. It's low down around the hip area in the back, in his back, and missed the game in Detroit. What's really helped him is the masseur that they have traveling with the team. It's really helped them get them back into action. Nicky Patillo getting the start there, and he just loves a road trip because that's when he can play most of his jokes on everybody.
Come to me the other day. He asked me if I had my shaving cream. I said, well, I didn't carry any, not thinking I got a 4.5-foot beard. What would I have any at all? Out to Zezel. He doesn't get it out. There's a crunch. Oh, up the middle. The Jets have a 2-on-1. And a backhand pass by Boschman trying to find Kite in front, and the Flyers cover, but the Jets keep it in. And Crossman around behind his net, works past Kite, follows the loose puck up on his own defensive right side, and caroms it off the glass to center. Jets give it away to the Flyer line, and here comes Huffman. Huffman, who started that Flyer surge of 2 goals in 38 seconds with his first in the NHL at 4:51, and then Derek Smith converting Sutter's 2-on-1 at 5:29.
Hey, the Flyers return home Thursday night against the first-place New York Islanders, and tickets are still available. Single seats can be purchased at the Spectrum, Showcase stores, and all the Ticketron outlets, while limited view tickets may be purchased only at the Spectrum. At this coming Thursday night, the New York Islanders. I think now, Gene, that Winnipeg is getting a taste of the defensive effort that Philadelphia has put in. Don Maloney, of course, it makes it difficult when you have to come back by 2 goals and you're up against a club that's checking very well. The Flyers have shut off the center ice area, somewhat similar to what Winnipeg did at the tail end of the first period to Philadelphia.
There's a battle for the puck along the near side. Rolled through, and here comes Smale over the line. Shot wide, gets his own rebound, and just cranks it high at the short side. That was a good angled shot. Now McBain comes out in front and just lifted away at the last second and shot down the ice by Derek Smith, but right through the legs of Tim Waters. Rolls in on goaltender Pokey Reddick, Eldon Pokey Reddick, and around the Jets to Smale. His pass deflected at center, taken away from Howard Chuck by Philadelphia's Howe. Turns into his own zone. Backhand pass to Greg Smith in the far wing and through off Ron Sutter's skate to center ice. The Jets turn down that left side. It's dropped back to Smale, and Smith got back into position to intercept the pass. Cleared off the grass to the point. It bounces off a Flyer body. Carlisle keeps it in, hungry to shoot to the net. Does! And Hextall just covered it as it bounced at his feet before Smale was able to sneak it away and maybe bang it home.
That puck a couple of times, more than a couple, about 4 times they've tried to clear around the boards. It's hit the referee, Dan Marawelli, and it's kept the puck inside that zone. Hextall very quick to cover up that puck. Not a hard shot, but what makes it difficult is the fact that you have a winger coming in from the side and another guy standing off to your left. So you have to make sure you make the save first and then cover up on the rebound, all in a fraction of a second. And that puck, when it's coming in slow like that, seems forever to get there. Seems like it takes forever anyway.
Thomas Steen with Philadelphia's Tocchet. The Jets working offensive corner, and then Crossman takes it away. Spins it around behind the net to Prop, and Prop lifts it in the air to make sure he gets it in the neutral zone. Bounces as it did in the early part of this period, but didn't get through the Jet defenseman. That set up the 1 goal by Philadelphia's Sutter to Derek Smith, and a loose draw in on goaltender Reddick for the stoppage of play.
He got his nickname, Gene, from his father, Pokey. Of course, nobody really calls him Eldon anymore. And he said his father said that he was very slow moving around the house and did everything at quarter speed, not half speed, quarter speed. So he nicknamed him Pokey, and it stuck.
We learned an interesting job for Dan Marawelli, the referee in the offseason, that prepares him for being an NHL referee. Firefighter on a naval on an Air Force base in Canada. There's a point drive right on by Crossman. Rebound in front. Nobody can get a shot at it, and finally Steen out, lets it on the right side at center ice, and here comes McLean. Left winging to Duncan. It's behind him. Flyers control it and lift it into the neutral zone. Tocchet gloves, sends through to Eklund. Rolls it into the corner, fights past the stick check of Bradbury as Reddick feeds up to McLean, and outlet at center, and here they come. Steen up the middle with Duncan on his left. Over the line, tries to hit Duncan, who's a stride late in getting there, and Crossman takes it around behind the Philadelphia net. Comes up on the near side and drives it through at center. McLean, oh, nice play by Duncan to take it back the other way. Into the zone. trying to make the play. Steen's going to go to the point. Back pass. Shot toward the net. Save. Rebound. Rolled on the goaltender. Hextall. They whack at it and they can't get it home. Very close with 4:45 remaining. Second period for Winnipeg. Flyers maintain a 3-1 lead.
Boy, you got to knock a guy down in front of that net. You can't let him stand there and poke away. Smack him one.
Get my red light, man.
Bob.
Best pop for the Jets in the period. They've outshot Philadelphia 13-6 in this period, 25-20 for the game. The Flyers have both second period goals and lead 3-1.
They've had the benefit of 2 power plays as well, and Winnipeg has a very strong power play.
Ron Wilson with Zezel. Zezel takes the draw, tries to clear out, and does, as it got about shoulder high, and Craven directed it with his glove past the defenseman Marois. Jets retreat in their own zone, an outlet pass at center, off the stick of Zezel, who picked off Smale at the Jet line and ricochets up into the seats on the far side. Again, the 3 officials, Swede Knox, Randy Mitten, the linesman, Dan Maroelli, the referee. 2 linesmen have 33 years composite experience in the NHL. Mitten
has 3, the other have 30.
Now, Mitten says 16 years. He doesn't look it. Fuzzy cheek. Born in, again, Fredericton, now living in Alberta. 37, which is 6 years younger than a guy I know sitting very close to me, who's aging. Puck at center. Jets take it off, and here comes Taglianetti trying to lead a charge. Strip to the puck. Derek Smith through to Craven. Bounces through him into Marois for Winnipeg. Marois away at center ice, and here come the Jets. Wilson down that left side. He's got Smale with him, and Harvenpaugh. Shot by Smale, and a quick feed into the left circle. Hextall covered the short side, and getting behind him, Philadelphia made sure that nothing would happen there, as Mellenby was there to protect.
Strong game by Ron Hextall, and again, Flyers have been able to keep those guys away from the net. You get that first shot, but you got to get them away so they can't jam at the puck. Hextall getting a rare day off against Detroit. Got an excellent shot there. Doug Smale, not a real big player, only 170 pounds, and he keeps his 170 pounds with a real stringent weightlifting program. If he didn't lift weights and work out hardly, he'd probably go down about 150 pounds. He's not that big.
They asked a real Winnipeg fan, what does it mean to have Philadelphia with Ron Hextall? It says it means we boo him now instead of Sutter. Sutter family never very popular. Boschman for Winnipeg, offensive left circle against Philadelphia. Sutter. We have 4:09 remaining second period. Puck in the Flyers' defensive right corner. Dug out there by Boston, tied up nicely by Ron Sutter. Protects the puck in the corner with his stick, kicks it away from Kite to Dave Brown. Brown bumped off by Neufeld. He puts it toward the Flyer net, poked away by Crossman, sent down the ice. I think Crossman's skating ability has really been a factor for Philadelphia in this period, Bobby. He's been able to time after time bring the puck out of the zone. At center ice, here come the Winnipeg Jets. Neufeld over the line. He's got Waters with him. Through into the zone, and there was Doug Crossman back, sending it up on the center ice area to Ron Sutter. Over the line, trying to get inside. He doesn't. Huffman right on in. Just failed to get it home. Now back to Derek Smith. Right out in front of backhander. Missed the short side. Gets his own rebound and a carry to the right board. Look, goes back to the blue line. Feeds a pass through traffic, and reading that was Neufeld. He'll start away for Winnipeg at center ice. His pass blocked by Derek Smith, who dumps in and right from the Flyer player bench to make a wholesale change. Out there is Root now on the defense with Howe, and they've got Prop on with Pocket and Eklund, with Boschman for the Jets at center. Drilling one about eye-high in on Hextall. Gloves it, sends it up on the left side to Prop. Through over the line, Tocchet rolled off the stick, picks it up at the hash marks left side. Can't make the play. They get it out to... Oh, look out. There is Howe in from the right circle, and as he got to the forehander and shot off the body of Dale Howard-Chuck into the end seats for the stoppage.
Dave Ella took that shot off the back part, and he is limping. Boy, how that whole panel or that whole alleyway just opened up, and the problem he had, though, is he had it on his backhand, and he had enough time, so obviously you want to go to the forehand. You have much more accuracy and steam when you get a forehanded shot away, but just that extra fraction of a second allowed Ella to get back into position.
They scramble for the face-off. It's cleared to Duncan, but not out. Not out a second time, and when he does get it past Greg Smith prevents him from pursuing. The Flyers dig it out and send it back down behind Reddick. He isolates up on the far side. Duncan has it and comes now trying to find Howardchuk, shoots it all the way down behind his captain. Hal takes it, wheels it around to the near side. McLean blocks it in the corner, looks to center. Oh, Prop just hooks his stick. He went down. They moderately looked for foul, but none really was there. And up through the Prop at center ice, hits Eklund into the zone by himself and has nowhere to go. Oh, rolls it into the zone and is given one right up in the chops. And that was an elbow of the highest order, a high stick, and everybody missed that one except the fans and us. Shot in on Hextall from the blue line by Howardchuk, cleared but not out. The Jets try to get it in. It pops up off Huffman's stick behind, peeled up on that far side. Eklund is back into prowess again, but he really was stunned by that stick check, and he gets a draw in his own right corner, tying up Taglianetti. Boy, did he get drilled. How could you miss that?
Well, Maruelli was watching the other way, Gene. He didn't see it. I mean, they came across and they actually collided. Almost he and Rick Tocchet almost collided, and then when he wasn't looking, there's the stick right there. Ooh, a cross check right in the chin. And Maruelli, who did not even see the play, there's the cross check right there in the face, right on the chin. And there was no call, but I don't think Maruelli saw it.
Good thing Michel Bergeron and Esposito didn't see it.
Well, that tape would be in the league office.
Thomas Steen, along with Hannu Järvenpää, Doug Smale, Taglianetti and Marois. The Flyers go Zezel taking the defensive right circle draw. 1:58 remaining in the period. Puck in the Flyers slot, and Howe just lifts it out, and the Jets will pursue in their zone. Flyers have Zezel on with Mellanby and Craven. Howe back with Crossman. Jets on the far side. Broken up. Flyers keep it into the slot. Craven is hooked off his skates by Järvenpää. Shoots it to Zezel in the corner. Centering pass in the blind. Picked off, and Taglianetti of the Jets defense through at center ice at the Flyer line down that left wing side. Drops off, and Steen shot on. Rebound in front, but all the Jets had gone in deep, and it's Zezel away on the left wing to Mellanby. Mellanby at the line, has trouble handling it. Takes it around behind the net. Centers right there, Craven. Oh, magnificent save by Reddick. Boy, he really stoned one. That was even better than the one in which he took away from Huffman in the first period. My, oh my. We have minute 14 left. Jets looking to get something on the board before they end the period. At the blue line, and a little bit too much dragging by Steen, and a sweep check by Ron Sutter takes it away. Now Randy Carlyle penetrates, trying to find Steen up the middle. It rolls to the near side to Järvenpää. He's checked by Derek Smith. Protects the puck. It's still in the corner in the last minute of play of the second period. Now Kite comes in. He's checked by Mark Howe. Kite digs the puck out into the slot. Boschman a cross-ice pass. Carlyle just keeps it in. Turnaround shot. Directed in front. Shot. Save. Oh my. It was Järvenpää guessing, and Howe also trying to keep it away, but then Hextall threw the left pad out there. Marvelous save and reaction by Hextall. 35 seconds remaining in the period as each team came close to ringing the bell on straight-up shifts at either end. Carlyle behind the net. 25 seconds left in the period. The Jets put it in center ice. Greg Smith back along the near side to Huffman, retreating in the zone away from Boschman, and then puts it up to center ice on the far wing. Carlyle waits, drives it in. Hextall blocks off, looks along the near side, clears it to Ron Sutter. He doesn't get it out, and then rolls off Neufeld stick and sent to Huffman at center ice to Brown. They've got a 3-on-1. Brown over the line to Ron Sutter to Huffman in front, and he tipped it over the top of the net with 1 second remaining in the period. And we come to the end of an excellent 20 minutes of play for Philadelphia. Huffman is first from Prop at 4:51, and then at 5:29, Derek Smith is fifth from Sutter and Smith. But Hextall kept the Flyers' 2-goal lead with a dazzling play in the last half minute.
It helps when you're 6'3", because when you're 6'3", you have long legs. And he was able to get those legs out there. Had he been 5'9", there's no way he was going to get that shot.
Shots in that second period. The Jets with 17, a game total of 29. The Flyers with but 7, a game total of 21. Philadelphia with 2 of the games, 3 penalties, both of them coming in the second period. The end of 40 minutes from the arena in Winnipeg. It's the Philadelphia Flyers 3, the Winnipeg Jets 1. And now back to this evening's Philly 57 host, the Doc, Mike Emmerich.
Yeah. What goal? No, Huffman's goal.
Down the ice.
Hello there. Nice period. Huffman could have had 3. Tip one over the... Yeah, and how about Greg Smith playing because Shell's hurt and gets 2 assists? Oh. Sunday night with Buffalo.
Yeah, Doc. Not bad. Quick game. No.
No. They're not allowed me.
Are you kidding? I'm up here with Frank. Are you kidding we're going to get a chance to eat steak?
They went to the Cum Gardens.
Yeah.
They went to a bad Chinese restaurant.
I got so much MS.
Cum Gardens.
No.
Tell Frank I'm not lying. Well, I didn't want to be ethnic about it. Greg Smith, who has 2 assists, is behind his own net, wheels it up on the far side, and the Flyers jab at the center ice, deep into the Winnipeg zone, off the skate of Jet defenseman Marois out there with Taglianetti. Taglianetti outlets here. Greg Smith keeps it in. Boom, banged hard by Duncan, but the young rookie is able to break the puck free for Winnipeg and send it up through to McLean at center ice. He has their only goal. That's icing if the Flyers pick it up, but Hextall does, as Philadelphia a little belated to get to the goaltender. So he lays it off to Howe, and Howe leads a 4-on-3 charge. Over the line, Derek Smith, who has one of the goals, loses it, and McLean is sent away in the right wing at center. And Howe just quickly turns back and to get into position. Boy, Bobby, you take that as how to do it at both ends of the ice.
He has such great speed.
Near pass at the Flyer line.
He could have been almost caught for too many
men
minutes
on the ice.
How it played that.
Jets do it too, and Kite over the line on the near side against Crossman. Can't penetrate. Puck tries once, tries twice, then gets it back to Carlisle. Shot toward the net. Bounces up off a Flyer. Neufeld keeps it in, tries to turn from the right circle for a shot. Cannot. Taken out in the corner nicely by Tocchet. Jabs the puck loose. The Jets get it. Kite tries to roll it free, and then Howe off the far side to the blue line, and the Flyers can't get it out. Finally, it's Crossman on the off wing, or the off defensive position. Doesn't get it out. Bad play by Philadelphia. Up the slot, Neufeld is checked. Here comes the point shot by Waters. Back to Carlisle with a drive. Save, bounces in front. But that was a needless opportunity for Winnipeg to score after the Flyers lost 3 opportunities to get it out of the zone. This time, Tocchet makes sure, drills it in from center ice. Flyers change, bringing out Huffman along with Crossman, and Mellenby on with Craven and Zezel. Here comes Smale through on the near side. Crossman beats him, tries once, twice to get it past the winger, does not. Tries a third time, gets it past Steen up on the right side. Here comes Zezel, 3-on-2. Pass to the far side, off Craven's stick. That broke up the play, and the Jets cover the loose puck in their own left circle. Hanu Järvenpää to Taglianetti, gets it back behind Winnipeg net. Looks out cautiously to the near side, chased back the other way by Zezel, and Craven forces Taglianetti on the near side. Bad pass. Almost picked off by Zezel. The Jets straining to get out of the zone, and now Taglianetti leads the charge through at the Flyer line. Inside Huffman, open man in front, but the Flyers were able to smother that. It's wound behind the net. Crossman chased by Smale, peels it up on the near side, and the Flyers smartly have Mellenby shoot it all the way down. We played 2:40 into a scoreless third period in a very quiet Winnipeg arena. Big holiday crowd here, but nothing to cheer about so far as they trail 3-2-1. Dump in on Hextall to the near side, and Philadelphia's Brown gets it through at center off Carlisle's stick to Ron Sutter. He's stopped inside the Jet zone by Tim Waters, and Waters-Carlisle team with the puck in their own zone for the Jet defense. Up past Järvenpää, all the way down over the Flyer goal line. That will be a clear-cut icing. Only Greg Smith for Philadelphia in pursuit. 3:06 gone, scoreless third period from Winnipeg, 3-1 Philadelphia. Any crowd yet? you find out they got an attendance announced yet? Big crowd.
When you play against Ronnie Sutter, it's like having an all-day sucker. You know he's going to be there the whole game, in your face, all over you. He's going to be there all the time.
Sutter, Brown, along with Derek Smith, has one of the Flyer goals. Huffman the other, Zezel the third. McLean the only one for the Jets. Huffman at the point, shot directed wide into the near corner. Jets try to come out with it. Brown tapped it off the stick, tried to keep it in, could not. And Crossman waits for his wings to clear, drives it back in, and Carlisle back with Waters on the Jet defense. They have Howard-Chuck out there with Duncan and McLean. They give it away at center ice. The Flyers dump it back in. Reddick, who was beaten twice in 38 seconds early in the second period, once by Huffman, once by Derek Smith, and thereby lays the tail of the game 3-0. There'll be an icing against the Jets as Huffman, with his most solid effort to date, touches up. 3:37 gone, third period from Winnipeg, 3-1 Philadelphia.
How would you like to win a trip to Hollywood and a chance to star in a motion picture? Well, watch Philly 57's 8 o'clock movie for great movie giveaway details, and you could be this lucky winner.
Doc Emmerich talked about that Chicago incident. Well, that all started Sunday night when they were so discontent at their blowout in Detroit 12-0 and losing at home 6-1 to Buffalo. Started tearing up and discarding individual team picture postcards and littering the ice. And that was the derivation of the poster and the hats. Said Chicago fans know that the Hawks don't care. Point shot by Greg Smith wide as the Flyers win the draw. Neufeld along his own right side tries to get it up at center. Flyers there, but it's deflected away by Tocchet in on the Flyer goal from center ice. Hextall to the near corner, away from Smale, and peeled up to Eklund and away to center ice. Here we go. Prop one-on-one over the line. Right circle shot well wide as Marois was the one-man back. Prop gets his own rebound off the boards behind to Tocchet. Tocchet is stopped. Marois bumps the puck back into his own right corner to Neufeld. Neufeld, little shovel pass through Eklund, but then it's slow enough to allow Prop to cut across to the left, block it off, and then the Jets put it into the neutral zone. Boschman skates off. That allows Howe to take the puck up the middle. He's in! Oh, and he was all alone. But a nice play, I think, by Marois to push Prop in offside to take that scoring threat away.
It's nice to see him getting those skating legs going, jumping up in the play. Now you have Howe, who jumps up in the play quickly. Kerry Huffman has been doing it very well, as has Doug Crossman. So now you have three defensemen jumping up in that play, and it's something the Flyers haven't used over the last couple of years, or have, as often. They're doing it all the time now, and what that does is very similar to what Edmonton has done so many years, is they have almost 3 or 4 players on 2 defensemen and maybe 1 back checker. When you get in that offensive zone, it makes it difficult for them to check.
Craven, Mellenby, and Zezel for Philadelphia. They've got Huffman back with Crossman. Huffman at the red line, left side, drives it behind Reddick. The Jets have Carlisle out with Waters. The Flyers steal the puck in the zone, lost to Duncan, away to Waters, and up they've got Steen on with Howard-Chuck. As Dan Maloney is trying to find some scoring punch. In the corner, Duncan tied up. Howard-Chuck is beaten to the puck. It rolls back to Crossman. Reverses back in the corner away from Duncan. Wraps it around to the Flyers' defensive side. And Zezel takes it through to center. 2-on-1. Craven with Mellenby. Mellenby alone in front. Craven is there. Short side shot as Carlisle took off the pass to Mellenby. And then Mellenby is buried in the corner and hit his head, shaken up. Flyers dump it toward the net. Carlisle can't find the handle. Turnaround shot wide by Craven. And now we get the timeout for the projected possible injury to Mellenby, and then Mellenby is up, and Zezel took a shot at Carlisle for the late hit against the boards.
It was Tim Waters who took the shot, and Mellenby lost his balance, and that one's smart. And I don't think Scott Mellenby knew who it was that gave him the shot to the boards, and he was kind of looking around to find out who it was. But all you do at this time is you note the number and wait your chance. 14:57 remains, third period. Flyers have the 2-goal lead, 3-1. 14,098 in attendance here at the Winnipeg Arena to watch this Flyers and Winnipeg Jets tussle. We just found out Greg Smith has gone to the Flyers dressing room to receive some repairs. It appears he might have a cut. He should be back.
Philadelphia, Prop left. Rupe right with Poulin. Howe back with Root. He's seeing an occasional shift. And the Jets have Wilson on, along with Boschman and Mill, defensively Taglianetti, and Mario Marois. Sweden Ox drops between Poulin and Boschman. Back to Howe. He's in tight. Shot. That hit a massive players in front. Ricochets to Taglianetti behind his net. To Marois. Has trouble handling it. Taken away by Poulin. Poulin at the side of the net. Prop with no shot. Works out to the blue line. Pivots inside Boschman. Drives it cross ice. Look towards the net. Shot right on and through a screen of Rupe wide. Flyers Poulin back behind the net. Rupe's going to be bumped by Taglianetti. Avoids the check. Gets it off the Prop. Prop trying that same circle route. Gets it off the left boards to Howe. In behind the net. Reddick tried to feed it away from Rupe, who gets it behind. Stuffer. Rebound and whoa boy. Quick cover up by Reddick, who almost got himself caught behind, and Rupe came out in front with two stuffers a little bit late. 5:36 gone into the third period from Winnipeg. Flyers maintaining a 3-1 lead.
Boy, Rupe got a two-hander. Yeah. He gave a shot.
From Winnipeg, we pause for station identification. The Flyers Hockey Network.
Now Greg Smith has gone from the Flyers dressing room across to the medical room, which is opposite the Winnipeg Jets dressing room, and I think he'll be getting some stitches.
Brown, Derek Smith, and Ron Sutter. Philadelphia Crossman and Huffman. Carlisle back with Ellett on the Winnipeg defense, and up front Boschman with Kite and Ray Neufeld. Neufeld has trouble coming out of his zone. Gets off to Carlisle, who leads a charge. He's got Boschman on his right now. Picks up Neufeld over the line, but Kite gotten in front of him, leading interference, shoved in by Brown, and then Carlisle went right in, an obvious offside.
He is playing out of position, Jim Kite. He's usually a defenseman. He's up on the wing, and it's very difficult for a player to make that transition. The thing that makes it most difficult is you're playing your own zone. How you take the pass along the boards, how do you position yourself, and who you check in your own zone.
Ron Sutter against Laurie Boschman. Just outside the Flyer line along the right wing, Boschman dumped out of the circle, or the face-off by Mitten, and now it'll be Ray Neufeld. Started his career with Hartford and was traded here for Mr. Babbage. Puck around behind Hextall and a dump. He looks, clears it off the glass. Flyers have three men on that side. Try once, try a second time, and a third time, and Sutter through in the neutral zone, kicks it up ice, goes to Dave Brown. He hits Derek Smith with the puck, and then Derek can't find the handle. The Jets turn back 3-on-2. Brown coming back. Neufeld over the line, swings way to his right, puts it in on Hextall to save, and Hextall outlets behind Ellett all the way down, and between Knox and Mitten agree, no icing. And it is Reddick around to the near side. Brown in a race for it with Kite. They overskate, but Root keeps it in for Philadelphia. Boschman can't find it. Derek Smith rolls it from the right boards deep in the corner. Carlisle then for the Jets around to his own right corner for Dave Ellett, the defenseman for Winnipeg. Carries through at center ice. A pass to Boschman, stick at the Flyer lane, and on Hextall quickly out on the near side. The prop from Dave Brown. Prop at the Jet line. High drive in on goaltender Reddick. Feeds off to Marois. As there's a steal in front by Prop. Ricochets away from Eklund, who's on now with Tocchet, Crossman, and Huffman. Loose puck fed back by Tocchet in the Philadelphia zone, in on Hextall. Feeds it around behind for Huffman. Past Eklund, point drive, right on. Rebound behind the net, look out, trouble. Steen looks to center. Back to Marois drive, and that hits somebody in front. And the Flyers look to outlet into center ice, and they do. Marois can't handle it. 2-on-1. Eklund, now Tocchet is picked up. They look for Prop. He was hooked down from behind by Steen, as the Jets quickly turn back the other way. Up the ice to Taglianetti. Cannot get past his man. That was Root, who picked up nicely at center ice, deflected the pass away, and sent it into the Jet zone. Taglianetti to Smale now as Winnipeg going cross ice into the zone to Thomas Steen. Steen into the zone. He's there. Shot. That was blocked by Root. And Phil Root comes up with a pair of Danny plays, and now we've got Murray Craven on an innocuous penalty against Hanno Järvenpää, and then make that Tocchet, and Tocchet gives Järvenpää another shot, and I hope now he doesn't get a double minor. We have a Jet power play coming up with 7:36 gone into the third period, 3-1 Philadelphia. I hope he doesn't get a double minor, Bobby.
He has. One roughing and holding. Yeah, he's let everything go all night long, and now he starts calling it here. I understand these referees. Drive me crazy. Well, Philadelphia's Rick Tocchet will pick up not only 2 for roughing on the play, but he'll also get 2 for holding, as he took down the player in front when Bill Root blocked the shot. And on the way to the penalty box, he gave Harvenpaugh an extra shot. I think Marinelli just wanted to make sure the whistle was still working. 2 for roughing, 2 for holding. 7:36 the time.
Very, very needless, undisciplined second penalty, though, with the elbow, because the Jets, who needed some life as they've been shut down handily in this period, get it now with back-to-back power plays. Elliott can't control. 2-on-1 Philadelphia. Pulling over the line. Prop, but he was on the backhander. Shot anyway, short side. Pulling with a rebound in front. Stuffer hit the backside of the net. And the Jets, with back-to-back power plays, now have the life, and they've got a good power play. They're 0 for 2 on the night. They go into Howardchuk shot. Hextall to save it, bounced up into the crease, and as he fell off to the left, caught it on the way down. Stoppage of play.
He looks awful sharp right now. Howardchuk coming off the wing, and if you want a guy to get the shots, that's where you want the shots to come from. It's much easier for the goaltender to make the save. Very rarely will you put one by the short side, so the goaltender will concentrate on the far side. Make sure in his positioning that he'll have that short side covered.
Jets out shooting Philadelphia in this period. No, they're not. Actually, they're 5-5 in shots, 34-26 for the Jets for the game. Flyers have 3 of the game's 4 penalties, and Bobby, as aggressive they've been all night, it's amazing they've only drawn 1 penalty. Craven against Howardchuk on with McLean, McBain, and Elliott back with Carlisle. Puck in the corner. McLean takes it out. He's got Howardchuk on the other side of the net, gives him the puck. He looks in the right corner. He's got an open man on the near side. That was McBain, but Crossman read the pass perfectly, picked it off and sent it up to Craven. Craven gets past Carlisle, who grabs, tackles him, puts his arm right around his neck, pulls him down, and play carries on. Up ice comes Winnipeg, as Craven had Carlisle beaten. Through to McBain on the backhander into the near corner, a wraparound off the glass. It hits the ledge. Hextall feeds it, but can't get much oomph on it. Howardchuk in front. Fed away on the play by Hextall. Flyers try to make the play, and Howe is unable to get a handle with Howardchuk, and he looks at the referee Maroelli, and beseechingly, and I can't imagine for what. Jets have 2:50 remaining on the double minor to Tocchet. They trail 3-1. Up ice on the far side. Howe takes it away. Crossman then lifts it to the Jet line as they had too many men on the ice. Let that go. Steen into the slot. Wants to go back to the point. Derek Smith on with Ron Sutter. Steen behind the net. A give and go. Back to the point. Unable to take it on the backhander as it was an alert and too quick pass. Marois lost it, and the Jets then had to regroup at center ice. Taken away by Philadelphia and shot out off the stick of Boschman by Crossman into his own player bench. Stoppage of play. 10:47 remaining third period. 3-1 Philadelphia.
Why don't you make plans now to attend the annual Flyers Lives Fight for Lives Carnival at the Spectrum on Tuesday, January 19th. Now remember that new date, Tuesday, January 19th. Flyers Lives Carnival right at the Spectrum.
Remember my trivia question, the only player ever traded for 2 Norris Trophy winners?
Yeah.
Mo Mantha from Winnipeg to Pittsburgh for Norris Trophy winner Randy Carlisle.
There's the play that we kind of chuckled about, that no call was made.
And that was Carlisle, and of course, Mantha then set to Edmonton for Norris Trophy winner Paul Coffey. Up ice come the Jets. Marois, 2:13 remaining as the Flyers trying to kill one half of this double minor. Off the glass near side, knocked down Taglianetti at the point, puts it down in the corner. Steen looks to go back to Taglianetti. Big screen in front. They go off to the right side. Marois shot, hits Hextall in front, rebounds out the pool, and he turns and sends it all the way down.
Gene, what the Flyers are doing well in this penalty killing situation is they're getting the shots from the point and from the angles. They kept that slot area or the front porch cleaned out.
Taglianetti up at the red line, hits the right corner with a wraparound. Hextall slows it down. Flyers late getting to the corner. Howardchuk centered. Back to Elliott with a drive. Knocked down in front. And out comes Philadelphia. I think that Huffman got a piece of it. Over the line. Prop to Poulin. Poulin looks, holds, and then doesn't go in. With 1:27 left and ices it into Hextall. Hextall up to Howe on the near side. Just beautiful work by Philadelphia. And through. Here comes Craven over the line. Left circle drive up into the end seats off the stick of Randy Carlisle. Beautiful work by Philadelphia, killing a double minor that has 1:18 remaining.
Well, what you have is when you can incorporate your goaltender in your penalty killing scheme, which is the Flyers have done quite often. They will shoot that puck and pass it back to Ron Hextall. He can shoot the puck and clear it as well as any defenseman, and they have that much confidence in his ability. And Hextall expects it.
Craven and Mellenby on with Howe and Crossman. Howard-Chuck, Duncan, McLean with Ellett and Carlisle. Puck back in the neutral zone. And Crossman kills some time skating back to his line. Then backhands it off the near boards, and Carlisle gathers it into his own line, turns to the inner center of the ice, feeds off the right side to Ellett. Ellett stopped by Mellenby, but then they get it through to Duncan. Right side, Howard-Chuck will get a shot, and it was hit by Crossman in front. They shoot. Oh, and Hextall just pecks the pocket of McLean. Howe digs it out of the net or the crease and sends it down the ice.
He is on fire right now. Ron Hextall is playing outstanding. Well, you need that. If you're going to have a good penalty-killing team, you need your goaltender to make the big saves for you.
Hextall can't stop the wraparound. The Jets go back to Howard-Chuck at the point. He stopped, pushed off the puck, and out comes Derek Smith at center ice to Ron Sutter. Sutter over the line, has nowhere to go, drops it back in the neutral zone, tries to backhand it to Howard-Chuck. Ricochets up, he's in! Shot! Wide to the right side of Hextall in a quick thrust. Looks to center, and they score!
They've got some bouncy, goofy goals. It's just a shame. Dale Howard-Chuck broke in, missed a shot. Now it'll come back out front. This is the second goal that they've scored when it's gone off somebody. They just bounced it up front, and it's Paul McLean. He scored 2 goals tonight and hasn't touched the puck with his stick yet in either goal. First goal hit him in the skate. This one hits him on his thigh, and it goes in the net. They all count, and in the middle of the summer, they're going to be hard shots to the top corner. But they get a power play goal here to bring themselves within 1, 3-2. McLean's 14th of the year.
Game of 22 seconds remaining on the second part of Tocchet's penalty. Howard-Chuck, but he was in alone and then hustled for his own rebound. So it's the thriller now, 3-2. Marwad center. Rolls one in on Hextall. He looks off the glass and into center ice. Prop blocks, and we'll start up with Poulin. Poulin into the zone. Drops the prop. He's got a good screen shot. Oh, and it ricocheted on a ding-dong between the knees of Reddick and stayed on the crease, and he fell back at his haunches to keep it away. We have 8:23 remaining. Third period from Winnipeg. 3-2 Philadelphia. Howard-Chuck, the one assist.
We weren't clear yet, Gene.
Yeah, he said clear to me on the headset.
Howard-Chuck, they call him Horror-Chuck.
What an awful goal, huh?
They just had 2 like that.
Yeah, but a little late picking him up.
No, what are you going to do? They had him. Flyers have been able to gain that blue line rather well. Hit good wrist shot by Brian Propp, and Pokey Reddick wasn't quite sure where that rebound was for a moment.
Craven, Mellenby, and Zezel along with Howe and Greg Smith. Boston on with Harbenpah and Neufeld, defensively Carlisle and Dave Ellett. And Sweet Knox says enough of that, puts out Zezel, and it will be Craven against Boschman. No, Boschman also tossed out. Boschman, who takes most of the defensive circle faceoffs for Winnipeg. Hanu Yarvenpah. Puck drop. Remember, Hanu Verta played in Buffalo. Puck in the offensive right corner. Carlisle ties up Mellenby and works the puck past Mellenby and Zezel up to Boschman on the near side through to Yarvenpah at the flyer line. Back to Boschman and along the near side up the slot. Shot, score from the point by Ellett.
The trailer, we talked about how well the Flyers defense have been moving into the offensive scheme of things. Well, right there shows how Winnipeg's defense has helped them out. Dave Ellett just moved up very quickly, got the nice drop pass, and he just rips it home to tie this hockey game at 11:53.
So the Flyers scored their 2 goals, Bobby, in the second period in 38 seconds. The Jets scored their 2 in 39 seconds. Harbenpah and Boschman, the assist on Ellett's 5th goal. Now for the second straight road game, the Flyers see a 3-1 lead dissipate in the third period. So now we are right back where we started at 8:05 Eastern Time, tied, and we have a 7-minute and 53-second regulation game with a possible 5-minute maximum overtime. That was the good goal, the first one on Hextall tonight. The other two off a leg, off a skate, and off a leg. Steen penetrates. Up the middle, he's going to go right on in, shoots! Hextall with a marvelous save, as all of a sudden that was the thing that ignited the Jets. There's a play in front, open net, Steen! He goes to shoot, Hextall covered that one. Centering try, and Crossman covers. Then
he took a dive, and he's calling it now. Andrew McBain took a dive on Kerry Hoffman, and Dan Marinelli's calling it.
All right, here come the Jets power play with 7:23 remaining, third period, and a 3-3 game.
What an awful call. Watch him take a dive here. Look at him. Unbelievable. They give it to Hextall?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, they've handed out a tripping call to Ron Hextall on Andrew McBain. And he comes at 12:37, which gives Winnipeg another power play, their 5th of the game. 5th for the Flyers won.
Hextall, 16 minutes on the air. The Jets have not had a penalty since Carlisle at 8:25 of the first period. They've now outshot Philadelphia 40-27 in the game. In this period, 11-6.
Well, they'll have their 3rd power play of the game. They've gotten back to it one when McLean scored off his leg when the Flyers were short for 4 minutes when Taka picked up a double minor. So they've only had 1 power play goal out of the 4 chances. To date, this is their 5th. Derek Smith will serve the penalty for Hextall.
Sutter, Poulin, Howe out there as Ron Sutter gets it, pivots and sends it down the ice. Crossman, Howe. And now Sutter goes off and Propp is on with Poulin and the Jets. As you might expect, Howard, Chuck, McBain, Duncan, Ellett, who scored one of the goals, and Carlisle. He shoots down that left side behind Hextall, slows it down, looks at his feet, clears it off the seats up, and that's going to be a penalty. And so the Flyers, who were in command 4 minutes ago, now are tied, and the Jets with a 2-man advantage.
Will be a delay of game call, and there's no doubt about that one. Is Hextall trying to get it out of the zone, got it out too well, up over the glass, and it comes at 12:58. So the power play is giving the Jets a great chance to get back in this game. It did. It gave them the goal that brought them within 1. Now they've tied it, and now they have a great chance to take the lead for the first time tonight. And Hextall trying to get it out, got it out too well. High up over the glass, so Hextall will get 2 penalties. One at 12:37 for tripping. This one for delay of the game at 12:58.
Glass here at Winnipeg at the ends and on the side, lower than most of the buildings now, and he just misgauged it. There's no question. So the Flyers now have had all 3 penalties in this, all 4 in this period. They have 6 of the game 7. The Jets, with a strong power play, have a 2-man advantage for 1:39.
Gene, what's really troublesome is now that they've lost one of their better penalty killers, Brian Propp. Remember, when a goaltender gets that penalty, he has to have someone on the ice serve it for him. And rather than give out a defenseman, Crossman or Howe, Propp's the one that goes in the box.
All this has happened from the 11:14 mark when the Flyers in command, and then bang, a little squidgy from behind the net off McLean's leg. They tie it 39 seconds later, now have a 2-man advantage. Carlisle down that left wing to McBain. McBain, whose fall set up the first of these 2 penalties, gets it behind the net. McLean out. He's got in front. They work away. Flyers had it. Crossman was picked off. The Flyers didn't get it out. McLean in the slot. Goes right side. Open man in front. Oh, a rebound. And there was McBain with Hextall down, turning into the open net, and it was swept away by Poulin and ice. 6:24 remaining third period. A minute left on the Jets' 2-man advantage. Crossman, Howe and Poulin as Howardchuk flies up at center. Tries to get past the stick check of Poulin. Cannot. Crossman tries to lift it out. Gets it to Poulin, and he slides it into the neutral zone. Ill-advised for Howardchuk to try to fight through a pinch at the boards. They've got 2 men. Just take it in and force the triangle back. He did it again. Howard-Chuck trying to fight through against the boards against Poulin. Stopped, and the Jets now have a half minute on the two-man advantage. They wind it behind Hextall. He has a chance to unload. Puts him in the corner to Howe. He gives it away. Couldn't control to Ellett. Ellett looks. He's got Marwah asking for the puck. Point shot deflected into the near corner. Crossman tries to take it. Rolls it up at the point. Kept in by Marwah. Shovels a pass taken away by Craven. He's got a half a step. He's going in. Drive. Score! Two-man disadvantage. Short-handed goal by Crafty Craven.
Big goal for Philadelphia. Murray Craven, what a great shot for him. And it shows his speed as well. He has those long strides, and I don't think Marwah is going to catch him when he tries to get back, and just gets it inside the goalpost. Pokey Reddick well out on the angle, but there's not much room, and Craven found it. It couldn't be more than an inch or two inside that far goalpost, and the Flyers score shorthanded to give them the 4-3 lead. Big goal for Murray Craven.
Unassisted. Unbelievable. That's the 6th of his career, his first this season, and it is number 9. Unbelievable. The last time the Flyers got a two-man disadvantage goal, Game 6. Semifinals, 1985 at the Spectrum against the Quebec Nordiques. Dave Poulin doing it. Hextall tries to clear it, bounces in the zone, open net, and it was fed right through Steen, who was there. And the Flyers, as they get one man back, 15 seconds remaining on the disadvantage. They go, now they've got Howe in. He goes to pass, shot by Derek Smith. Ill-advised says Howe was in by himself, and pass to the side where it's blocked. Now Steen back, teams at full strength, shot. Saved by Hextall on the short side. Hand pass behind by Philadelphia, and then knocked down, and that's what the violation will be called. Flyers not only survive, but score shorthanded with 4:59 left in regulation. 4-3 Philadelphia. Can you believe that? What we just said. Can you believe that? All right, they're at full strength. The Flyers have the lead, 4-3. 4:59 remaining in regulation. Huffman, the Crossman, can't find it as Carlisle takes it away at center ice, and it's slapped deep in by the man of the hour, Murray Craven. First two-man short goal of his career. Flyers up on the near side, blocked away from Howard-Chuck, but Duncan is there. Rolls it cross ice. McLean has it, tries to get it in, blocked off nicely by Huffman to Zezel at center ice. Turned as it rolled off the stick, turned, picked it up, and then drove it behind Reddick. There's Carlisle up on the far side, hits McLean and away. Howard-Chuck at center ice. He's hanging there, and he tries to get it through to Duncan. Puck rolls in on Hextall, feeds it away, almost onto the stick of McLean, who couldn't control it, and Murray Craven up through the near side to Derek Smith, and Smith backhands it in. Flyers bring out fresh troops. Greg Smith on with Howe, and they've got Brown on with Derek Smith and Ron Sutter. Sutter does a marvelous job of stripping Ellett, trying to come out along the near side. Battles Duncan for it deep in on the right side. Gets the puck out to Derek Smith. Poked to the blue line and out. And Greg Smith stick handle back in and took it out, and that's still an offside with 4 minutes left in regulation.
You know, the Flyers have a brand new Jules Jurgensen calendar watch, which has the team logo on the face, and it's available just in time for Christmas. Men's watches are priced at $99.95, ladies at $89.95, and if you want it sent to your house, just add the $2 to those total to Flyers Watch, the Spectrum, Philadelphia 19148. Craig Smith played a very sound game, his second one since being recalled from Hershey. Played very well after he got his feet wet in the first period in Detroit, and here he's played soundly right from the start of the game on.
Pocket with a shot from the face-off 10 feet inside the Winnipeg line, right wing off the stick up into the end seats. We'll try it again. Boy, we've had some exciters on this trip, and we'll complete it Tuesday night at 7:30. Philly 57, WIP and the radio network from Pittsburgh against Mr. Coffey and Mr. Lemieux. Right, we'll try the face-off again. Winnipeg controls Ellett, who got the game tied. Net three, shoots it in. Oh, there's a rebound in front. Shot just wide or off the deflection of Hextall. Tried by Harvenpah. Around behind the net. Tocchet pokes it free. Harvenpah got one of those little quick deflections off the board and was in free on the right wing. Now the puck jammed up halfway up on the Flyer defensive left side. We'll have a face-off at the top of the circle. 3:34 remaining in regulation. 4-3 Philadelphia.
This is when you got to make sure you have men, the wings on wings, or somebody coming back. You have to have 4 guys coming back now when you make that play up the ice. No sense of getting 2 men caught, and never get 3 men caught when you're protecting that 1-goal lead. Dan Maloney probably trying to figure out what he can do. He's had 42 shots. His team's had 42 shots. Only 1 clear goal. 2 of them bouncing goals in it. He really hasn't solved the problem from Hextall.
He had to be salivating. They scored twice. They've got a 2-man advantage at home ice. And see his dreams go up shattered on a 2-man shorthanded goal by Murray Craven. 3.5 minutes left. Pass by Carlisle. Deflected away by Poulin. Gets a little flip on the near side to Magnus Rupe, and he sends it into the Winnipeg zone. Quickly around far side to McLean. From Marois up to Howardchuk. That should be an icing if Crossman gets there first. He screens it off, touches up, and we get a stoppage. And again, the excellent play as he turned his rump into Howardchuk to keep him away from the puck and touched up for the stoppage.
You know, we keep talking about the Flyers players who get a lot of ice time, and especially in the closing minutes of a game. Dale Howardchuk has not missed many shifts in this third period for Winnipeg. He's playing just about every second shift. He had 2 4-minute advantages. They've had 2 2-minute advantages in this period, and he's played every minute of those power plays. He gets a lot of ice time for this Winnipeg Jets hockey club. 3:07 remains. 4-3 Philadelphia.
Ron Sutter, Derek Smith, Dave Brown, Howe, and Greg Smith. Just for those of you who haven't seen, Derek is with an I, Smith, and Greg Smith is with a Y, S-M-Y-T-H. Jets have Taglianetti on with Ellett, and they go Neufeld, Boschman, and Waters. Looks like they have Ellett playing up on the wing now, eh, Bob? Howe, no shot, pokes it around behind the net. There's Ron Sutter putting it in front. Waters sends it out, and Ellett is playing the wing, comes to center ice along with Neufeld. At the fly line, he's got a good scoring touch around behind the net. Centering play high off the blocker of Hextall in the corner. Neufeld wants the center. Greg Smith gets his stick down on the ice to block. Flyers wheel it around to their defensive near corner. Ron Sutter is there, tries to slam it past Taglianetti, cannot. He's tied up. Ellett digs it out, rolls it behind the Philadelphia net. Howe slows down the pursuit of Neufeld, gets a little flip pass from behind from Derek Smith, up to Derek, spins inside away from the check of Boschman, who pulls him down, and now we're going to get a Jet penalty as the Flyers come through to Brown down that right wing side. He'll kill as much time as he can, and as soon as the Jets touch up or we get a stoppage, and we do, the penalty at a most inopportune time for Winnipeg with 2:22 remaining in regulation. Their second penalty of the game, their first since the first period, but it comes when they're down by a goal. Laurie Boschman will go off, and for him, 73 minutes on the year. Flyers trying to come out of their zone, and Smith cut inside, turned to the left at the boards, got inside Boschman, who then got a stick under Derek's skates, and off he goes. The call is hook. Winnipeg now with 2 of the game's 8 penalties, and the Flyers know that they have a man advantage for all but 22 seconds of regulation if need be. 17:38 the time of the call. Again, Boschman with 73 minutes on the air. Flyers 0 for 1 on the advantage this evening. Boy, if you just joined us, the Jets scored twice this period at 39 seconds to tie, and then on consecutive penalties to Hextall, they have a 2-man advantage for minute 38, and during that tenor, while they were 2 men up, Murray Craven scores shorthanded for Philadelphia. Up Eystein on the right side. They can only think of offense, and here comes Carlisle, who can do it. He fakes to the left, looks, shoots in on Hextall, reaches off, drops it off, and then clears it right back to the point where the Jets dig it off Steen, squeezed off nicely by Mellenby, as the Flyers are doing a beautiful job this evening of just taking off the man with the puck, allowing the second man to come in and worry about that disc. The man doesn't go anywhere, you can't worry about the rest of it. Now Bob penetrates into Mellenby in front of the slipper, open net! Oh, Craven had the game wrapped up, and Reddick somehow or other with his back to the play got a leg out to keep it away. That was so close, as the first shot by Mellenby in tight, and then Reddick appeared helpless on the rebound, and there was Murray Craven ready to finalize with the stuffer. and Reddick with a marvelous save. And Craven just got the stick up and then saw it wasn't in. But Melly went to the forehander, flipped it. Reddick couldn't control, fell down to his left. The puck was there, and trying to lift it up was Craven. In fact, he was so sure the stick got up in the air, figuring goal, but none would be had, so the goaltender Reddick keeps them alive at 4-3 down with 1:43 left in the period, 1:21 on the penalty. At center ice, Crossman off to Huffman. He puts it down behind the Jet net. In there is Marois trying to work away. Hook. And that takes Eklund trying to get it in front. And he banged it off the back of the defenseman on that side, Marois. And Reddick hung tight to the left post, and it dropped at his feet for the stoppage. We thank our site producer, as regular, Mike Finicchiero, our director, Frank DeVincentis, our associate directors, Jeff Reed and Louis Normandine, our coordinating producers, Tim Sowick and Ray Lombardi, producer Mike Rubin, executive producer Carol Healy, and the rest of the fine crew at WGBS Philly 57. We'll be back with you with that same pairing and WIP, flagship radio station, and the radio network on Tuesday night at 7:30 from Pittsburgh. Flyers now at hand. Get it back to Crossman. Shot toward the net. Save. Rebound. Trying to get to the forehand and digging out in front and find the opening side of the net was Tocchet. But Reddick stopped him, and the counterpart, number 22 for the Jets, Marois, kept Tocchet wrapped up. Again, shot on the near side. It was tipped by Tocchet. And as he tried to go forehander for the open side of the net, stopped by Reddick and by Tocchet, or by Marois. We have 1:25 remaining in regulation. Behind the net, the Jets, who are backed by a man, throw it to center ice. Off. Howard check got past Crossman. Hextall way out. Pokes it loose to the near side. Oh, very, very dangerous moment. And there goes Tocchet down that left side into the Winnipeg zone. Drops the prop. Right side past Eklund, has to take it on the carom, put it behind the net to Tocchet. Tocchet centers. Prop is there. Hit the pipe behind Reddick, and it came right back to Prop. Prop has the puck. Right side pass. Skips past Eklund as we're the last minute of play in the third period. The outlet. Steen through against Huffman. Huffman stops him. Steen waiting for some support. To the point. There's Carlisle. He's got a screen. Shot deflected in the far side. The penalty is over. The Flyers get it up with 41 seconds remaining in, 18 seconds remaining on the penalty, excuse me. And the puck up at center ice. They get it through to Eklund, right-winging it past to Tocchet. Over the line, looks up the middle. There's Eklund. Takes the shot, sends it through the legs of Marois, and Reddick covers. The Jets get a man back in 4 seconds. Reddick holding his stick up. Should I go to the bench? Here comes Marois through. Works off to the far side. The Jets try to work it into the net. Kick to the corner. Tocchet a wraparound that clears off the glass and out of the rink. And with 16 seconds left in the face-off in the Philadelphia zone, the Jets may call timeout, but they will have Reddick off the ice and go with the six-man attack. "16 seconds remaining in regulation. The Jets have called timeout. You just joined us. Flyers carried a 3-1 lead into this period thanks to Huffman's first NHL goal and Derek Smith's fifth, 38 seconds apart in the second period. They nursed that until the third when Tocchet picked up consecutive minors, and on the latter half of one, Howard chucked from behind the net. Caron went off McLean's thigh. The Jets were close, and 39 seconds later, Elliott, from a drop pass just inside the blue line, blew it past Hextall at 12:53, and then the Jets came back to attack with Hextall picking up penalties for tripping McBain and then for delay for shooting the puck out of the rink. 2 men short, and during the latter stages of that disadvantage, Murray Craven on an unassisted 2-man short advantage breakaway, and that's where we stand as the Jets have 16 seconds remaining in regulation to try to get it knotted 6 against 4. Steen, Boschman, Howardchuk, McLean, Elliott, and Carlisle. The Flyers go Sutter. They get it back. Elliott, drive wide. And to the reside, Crossman lifts it high in the air, down the ice. That may do it, my friends, with 9 seconds left. Hard, kept in by Mellenby. Fights off Carlisle's check. Fights him off again. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. The game is over. And Murray Craven has done a magnificent job in coming back, as did the Flyers in that third period after apparently on the precipice of a turnaround defeat. Hold off the Jets for 1:38 on a 2-man disadvantage. And now, while we're recapping, Nicky Fertiu was held off by Marawelli from going after somebody, and appeared to be either Boschman or Marois for something that happened after the play. But the Flyers, for a minute 38 seconds, 2 men short, and again Craven on the breakaway scored the Flyers' first 2-man disadvantage goal since the '85 semifinal Game 6 playoffs against the Quebec Nordiques, as Craven just goes by on our picture along with Bill Root, Eklund, Propp, Rick Tocchet, Derek Smith, Daigneault, and Kerry Huffman, who had his first NHL goal. Zezel, who scored tonight, and Captain Dave Poulin is showing an elation. Backup goaltender Mark LaForest, and Hextall, who was brilliant tonight, and Nick Patillo did a steady roll in his short chips, and Dave Brown, Scott Mellenby, Magnus Rupe, and Greg Smith, who had a big night with 2 goals. Mark Howe was brilliant, and coach Mike Keenan. The shots in that final period, the Jets wind up with 13, a game total of 42. The Flyers with 11, a game total of 32. The Flyers had 6 of the game's 8 penalties. That's it. Final score from the Winnipeg Arena: the Philadelphia Flyers 4 and the Winnipeg Jets 3. Tonight, our Budweiser star of the game, as chosen by Bobby Taylor, is the game-winning goal scorer, number 32, Murray Craven. And now, stay tuned for the post-game show coming up next. When was the last time you saw that?
Just when he takes the pass, or when he intercepts the shot, I mean. How much time to us? Another 3 minutes to us. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. We'll go back.
How many of you have seen in there your day, Mike? 2-man disadvantage. Yeah. Yeah. This is Gene Hart back at the Winnipeg Arena, and my Provident Pride and Performance player of the game tonight with his first NHL goal and remarkable defensive play, Kerry Huffman. That's it. Final score from Winnipeg, 4-3 Philadelphia. And now we go back to Philly 57 and Mike Emmerich.
Thanks very much, Doc. And Murray, it was a great shot. And when that situation arises, you know, you're 2 men short, you're out by the point there, what are the responsibilities, or what are you thinking about when you see that man with that puck?
Well, when you're 2 men short, what you want to do is try to not get out of position to one side of the ice too much so they can throw it across and the guy can walk in and take a shot. And here I was just trying to play in between them. Like I was going to see, I moved to the left-hand side of the ice to take the pass away, and he kind of fanned on the pass, and I just picked it up, and I had a half a step on him coming out of their zone and on Marois, and I just skated to the open side of the ice just in order to get my shot away, and I got good will on the shot, top of the circle, and hit the post and I went in, but I missed a lot of them tonight.
It was an excellent game, a very fast-paced game. It's easy to stay in the flow of things when it's moving that quickly, doesn't it?
Well, I think the biggest factor of that is there was very few penalties in tonight's game. There wasn't a lot of power plays and a lot of really a lot of disadvantages, and therefore you can roll the lines over, and it's good for the whole team to get into the game like that. We try to go with 4 lines when that happens, and we try to get everyone involved, and that's when you get into a nice flowing game, and the game even looks good like that.
Defense have really moved up, and I talked to Doug Crossman about it after Detroit, saying that they're moving into the hole very well, and he, along with Huffman and Mark Howe, it just gives you 4 men in the offensive zone.
It does, and it makes it especially hard for forwards when they're back checking. I know that a lot of times a forward will get back to the red line and see that there's no one ahead of him to catch, so he'll just start gliding, and all of a sudden Mark Howe or Cross or Kerry Huffman comes from behind, and once you've started gliding like that, it's tough to get going, and Kerry Huffman did extremely well tonight. He moved up on the play a couple times and just had a breakaway one time, scored his first goal, and that's what we need. We need players like that moving up on the play and take some pressure off Mark Howe doing it.
Could have had a hat trick. He missed Reddick made a great save on him, and then one he deflected high over the net.
Oh, I know. That's the way it goes. I don't know. We'll try to get the same for next game.
This has been a team that has been struggling. Winnipeg, they haven't been scoring a lot of goals, but tonight they seem to get a ton of chances. But yet, in my mind, when watching the flow of the game, it didn't look like they had that many shots.
It didn't, that's for sure. You know, that's when you go in other teams' buildings and that, and even in our building, and maybe a lot of times that shot clock is kind of guilty of maybe adding it up for the home team a little bit. But I thought tonight's game was pretty well evenly. I thought we had a lot of chances to score too. In the first period, early especially, we had a few chances to score, and then they came back, and it kind of went back and forth all game. And then we got into penalty trouble in the third period, and they have an excellent power play. I think they're in the top 2 or 3 in the league, and we got ourselves in a little bit of trouble, and they caught up. And you know, it didn't look too good for us when we fell 2 men down, but we were happening to get a good break, and you know, it's good. We need this game to keep it going now and get our confidence on the road, and hopefully we can carry it into Pittsburgh.
One thing that's nice about it is that there's more people are being used in the penalty killing situations now. Almost it was the sole domain of Brian Propp and Dave Poulin. Now you're getting it a chance. Ronnie Sutter, you enjoy killing penalties?
I do. I think they can get you into the game real easy, killing the penalty, because a lot of times you can skate around out there and there's a little bit more open ice, and you get the puck and you don't have to really worry about making a good play. You can just fire it down the ice. But a good thing, we've got an excellent system going right now with our penalty killing. We have Brian and Davey going first, and then we come back with Rick and Ronnie, and then if there's anything left, there's me and Scotty Mellenby or me and Derek Smith or someone. And especially with working guys on the power play and the penalty killing, these days there's so many specialty teams that you can't do both. You just wear down too much, and it gives us a good break. I play a lot on the power play. I've been playing a lot on the power play, so it gives me a break not to kill penalties. And really, Brian really logs a lot of ice time in that respect, but it seems like he can handle it.
You like the extra ice time?
Oh, everyone does. There's not a player in the league that doesn't like that extra ice time. If you don't, you're really behind the game out there.
Great game tonight, Murray. Thanks for being our guest.
Thanks, Bobby.
Murray Craven, our star of the game, and we'll return with Mike Emmerich right after we take this time out.
Just give the score the next game, and then from a snowbound, sad, but brilliantly lit Winnipeg. Okay.
Without question, former Bruins captain Terry O'Reilly was one of the most popular players ever to wear a Bruins uniform. Terry ended his career at the conclusion of the 84-85 season and ranked 7th on the Bruins' all-time scoring list. Let's go back to April 2nd, 1972. Terry's first NHL game and his first NHL goal.
Don't hurry up. Drive. Goal, O'Reilly!
Terry O'Reilly, playing in his first National Hockey League game, gets his first National Hockey League goal. The assist to Don Orey and possibly Teddy Green. Here it comes. Now that puck goes right out to Don Orey at the point. Here's the drive, and watch O'Reilly right by the net, where a good goal scorer usually stands, and he just tips this by Perron right there off the goal post. And Terry O'Reilly, and he's a happy young fellow, with his first National Hockey League goal.
Nordiques.
In his 9 seasons with the Boston Bruins, Ken Hodge scored 289 goals, recorded 385 assists for 674 points, to rank 6th on the Bruins' all-time scoring list. Hodge enjoyed his greatest goal-scoring year in 1973-74, when he hit the magic 50-goal mark for the first and only time in his career. Let's go to the Forum in Montreal. The date, April 6, 1974.
Hodge with it. A drive in front, deflects it off the point, and it is a 3-2 and the 50th goal for Ken Hodge. And it is 3-2. He reaches that magic 50-goal mark. At the Forum, they're
in the 1969 Stanley Cup playoffs, the Bruins eliminated the Toronto Maple Leafs and moved on to face Montreal in the semifinals. Trailing 3-2, the Bruins and Canadiens were locked in a thriller in Game 6. In the second overtime, Jean Beliveau scored one of the most dramatic goals in Montreal history.
Kept in by Provo. Look out. Provo in. Beliveau. Shot. Goal. It's all over. And Montreal has won the Eastern Division Finals. Ken Hodge visibly upset as he flings his stick. And a sudden ending for the Bruins.
Your career with 604 goals. Throughout his long and colorful career in the NHL, Bobby Hull was always one of the most popular players to visit Boston Garden in an opposing uniform. Hull ranks 4th on the NHL all-time goal-scoring list with 610. On March 25th, 1972, the Golden Jet scored one of his most memorable goals ever, number 600 at the Boston Garden.
Here comes Dennis Hull. He's got 2. Back to Bobby Hull. A shot scored!
Bobby Hull's 600th goal of his career, and he'll get a standing ovation here at the Boston Garden as Bobby Hull scores number 600. What a fabulous career he's had, and he ties this game up at 5-5. Here it comes here. This is Bobby. Or rather, Dennis, I'm sorry. He drops it back to Bobby, and here's the shot.
Wayne Gretzky of the Edmonton Oilers dominates the NHL record book for individual scoring honors. However, the record for most points in a single game belongs to Darryl Sittler of the Toronto Maple Leafs. On February 7th, 1976, Sittler scored 6 goals and assisted on 4 others as the Leafs beat the Bruins 11-4 at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Here he is again. Over the line, the shot scores! Sittler sets a new NHL record as he scores his 5th goal to go with 4 assists Reese moves it away. In modern history, Red Berenson scored 6 goals for St. Louis against Philadelphia. A shot off puck into the net. Sittler drove it, and it's 11-4. Goal number 6 for Darryl Sittler. Oh, right off the skate of Brad Park, and it beat Reese.
Courts are adjourned.
Goes behind the net. Hustle up and it's Now comes Music. 3-on-2 Boston. To Hodge over the line. Hodge. The Music